Visit OnTableTop.com and comment on all 3 days of the Flames of War Bootcamp to be in with a chance of winning one of 3 Flames of War bundles.
Good morning, everybody. We are back for day 2 of the bootcamp. I am joined by Chris. Chris, what's the plan for today?
So we've got a bit more hobby time to get the guys actually finished on what they're doing. Then we're going to break for a little bit of lunch. Then we're going to get everybody onto the tables, making sure that they get the first games in. A little bit of a break, maybe just a little bit of a chat. And then there's going to be a big participation game over here on the big city board that we've put together for it.
I see. Now, I do have a bit of a question. So I've been a little sneaky, just a little sneaky. Will you be mad that I have actually built a Russian force to play against folks?
Not when I played Russians as well. Never, never. So no, it's good because it shows obviously the other side of late war and what we're actually doing with it. So I think that'll be quite good for people to have a look at, and hopefully you can win some games with it as well.
Yeah, well, my thinking was if I could get it together, I could get some games in myself, but I can also let the other attendees here actually maybe take the army out for a bit of a test drive so they can actually get a feel for it. Because the big Russian box is nothing but tanks, so I'm happy.
Did you manage to get the Katyushas into the list though?
No Katyushas. So what I'm running is T-34-85, 2 more T-34-85s, 2 T-34s, 3 T-70s, 3 KV-1s, and 3 Su-85s.
Nice. Okay, yeah, that'll do. We can play some games with that one, definitely. Yeah.
All right, now, there is one important thing this morning which the boot campers don't actually know about. So guys, can I have your attention for a moment, please? We have a bit of an extra surprise for you for coming along, so we wanted to say thank you. So, Mr. Lyons is stepping into the room where we have hidden your surprise, and he's going to bring it out. So, you have got yourselves Hit the Beach. But on top of that, you're getting yourselves a copy of Fortress Europe and all 4 unit card packs. Can I get a woo? Yeah. All right. Who's coming up to get the first one and wrest it out of Mr. Lyon's grip? I will move out the way.
The requisition form in triplicate, please.
Requisition form in triplicate. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, come on, guys. Come and get them. Get your hobby on, and we will get on with day 2. We will see you soon, folks.
Visit OnTableTop.com and comment on all 3 days of the Flames of War Bootcamp to be in with a chance of winning one of 3 Flames of War bundles.
Hello everybody, we are back at the bootcamp. I am here with Chris from Battlefront, and today we are having a bit of a chat about this, Hit the Beach. So this is what our bootcampers have received this weekend. What all is in this box is going to be the question for this particular video, to let everybody see what you could have won if you had joined us here this weekend.
Absolutely, and they are feverishly putting it together out there right now. They're really excited by it, aren't they?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, because it's a 2-player starter set, everybody's diving in. I've had folks ask me, do I build one? Do I build both? I've just went, go ahead, build both. That way we can avoid blue on blue.
Absolutely. And Warren and Jerry almost had an argument out there about who was doing Germans.
Jerry has enough Germans. He's got like 12,000 points.
Yeah, I think he's doing the Shermans at the moment. So
yeah. Okay, so this is the new introduction for Flames of War 4th, yeah?
That's right. Yep, 4th edition for late war.
Mm-hmm. All right, now what we'll do is we'll dive into the box. So gorgeous artwork on the front, because you guys always do gorgeous artwork. And, so the first thing we see, recolored plastic, nice touch. Yep. Always good to have. We've got a mixture of stuff in here. So we've got our Shermans. We've got more Shermans.
And even more Shermans.
And more Shermans. And Sherman. Now, do we have any different variants of Sherman in this box?
Yep, so on the actual Sherman sprue itself, you have got a couple of different options for the front hull here. So if you wanted to take a Mark IV or a Mark III, you can vary it a little bit there.
Okay.
And then we've also got the M4A1, which is a slightly different cast turret there for the 75mm.
All right, well, we'll dive into those, have a closer look in a second. Yep. But for the Germans, we get Panzer IV, Panzer IV, Panzer IV, V1 flying bomb, which is always fun. And we get idiots.
No, they're the Pak 47.5 centimeters there.
I see. We then get all of our infantry, and you get a lot of infantry in this box, so you're getting a nice, well-rounded faction to actually, or pair of factions to show off. You get your bases, you get dice. I like when you include dice.
Yep.
We get mini rulebook, cards, and core rules leaflet that's going to let you get off the ground pretty quick.
Yep, and that's a quick start guide for anybody who's not really introduced to Flames of War before as well.
And then our instruction manual. So let's start digging into this. So let's start with some of the sprues, shall we? So we've got a couple of different ones for the Shermans here.
Yeah.
This is quite interesting. So this is our main one for the Sherman, yeah?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
they're all identical except for the smaller ones, yes?
Yeah, so the only difference on the smaller ones here is slightly different cast on the hull. So that makes it the M4A1 of the variant that's got the 75mm in the turret there. So the turret, if you see at the back here, has got a little bit different. It's
So
like a little
here?
bit longer. That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
And you also obviously got the longer gun barrel as well for the 75mm. And then other than that, it's the same kit. So you have the same tracks, you have the same base on it. So when people are putting together, they can obviously have the separate tanks there for it.
And then what we're seeing on the sprue itself, so we've got tracks, side skirts, lower hull, gun mantlet.
Yep.
We've got the front transmission, rear of the lower hull, another part of the gun mantlet, front of the tank. These are the two components.
Yep,
we're
so
on
they're
about.
the two alternate ones that you can have. So if you wanted to make it more of a British one, then you could use the one you've got your finger on, and then you've got the American one there. You can use them interchangeably as well, because obviously using different equipment.
Yeah, you got your main hull, you've got your more rounded cast turret that we all know and love.
Yep.
You've got some stowage here, you've got your main gun, you've got open hatch and closed hatch here, you've got a couple of 50 cals here, another one of the guns here, and some more stowage and spare components here.
Yep.
Whew. Okay, now, like you said, on the other one, I can see some nice variation on this hull if you're wanting to turn it into the other variant. We've then got a different rear for this particular hull. We've got the turret itself, we've got the gun, we've got this. What is this? What is this? Oh, that's the gun mantlet for this turret.
Yep.
And then you've got another hatch here. So that's our Shermans. Now, these are the backbone of any allied force, yes?
They certainly are, especially for the Americans designing the box. It's the armoured force for Flames of War and Late War, really, that the Americans used.
How many do we get in the box here?
I think it's 8 that you get in the box. So you've got the two 76mm Shermans here, and then you should have, 6 there of the 75mm Shermans, which
Okay,
are
so
obviously...
1, 2, 3, 5, 6, and 2 of the others.
Yeah, and obviously these pass over the top, use the different hull and the different turret on there. So
Exactly. So basically, these are an upgrade sprue to this.
yes,
So you could build it all the other way if you really want it, if you're instantly dropping in and building lists.
yeah.
But I'm guessing for the recommendation is build what's on the back of the box.
Yeah, to get you going, especially for new players to Flames of War or haven't maybe touched the versions in a little while, this it's a good starter set to get them going.
All right, let's dive into the German vehicles. Now, German vehicles for me, I have always had a bit of a passion for them. I have always said to John, I would love to own one, but I don't have that kind of money. So let's dive into the sprues here. So we've got your upper hull, your tracks, your cupolas. You've got an exhaust here, part of the gun attachment here to the turret.
Yep.
You've then got Scherzen, and you get 2 variants of Scherzen. So
You
you've
actually
got-
get 3 variants on here. So
okay.
so the bottom one there, it's got everything a little bit higgledy-piggledy, is where it's maybe the rails have come off because they just hang the armor plates over there. Above that are the straight ones, factory fresh, and then just above that, the 2 thin strips are actually the rails without the Scherzen. So if players wanted to obviously model their Panzer IV without them, then they can do.
Gotcha. You've then got spare track here, main gun, lower hull, Scherzen for the side of the turret, which is quite nice. The turret's here, lower turret's here. Couple of, I think that's part of the belly plate that goes onto the front. And
Yeah, that's the front one. Yeah,
I think that goes onto the back somewhere.
yeah, just to hold it all together.
Yeah. So that is a Panzer IV. Now, you get 3 of these in the box.
You certainly do. So again, it's a good start for a German armoured force. On their own, it's a platoon's worth.
I always say the Germans always have the edge with the vehicles. Anytime I've played any World War II game, the German vehicles are always super dangerous.
Yes, they are. It's whether it's the gun in them or even the armour on them as well. And they look nice as well, don't they?
Yeah.
That squareness to them.
Oh, yeah. You see, the Germans were one of the first nations to basically make what I consider to be the modern sort of silhouette of a tank.
Yeah,
Because if you look at some of the French stuff, the really early war stuff, it's all a little bit weird. You know, I mean, like whenever you consider the Russians had the BT-7, which you had the option to run the tracks on.
Yes,
you can take it off and just run it on a road if you want to. It was just like, what? No, why? Okay, we also get a V1 flying bomb. I assume this is more of an objective than anything else.
It is, yeah. So it's a plastic objective marker that we've included into the set just as a little bit of a bonus, really. So it hasn't got any sort of playable terms in game, although I'm pretty sure people would make up
we
some
can retro
rules.
that.
Yeah, absolutely. But again, it's a really nice plastic sprue that we put together that's got the actual V1 bomb in 3 parts. So that's the bottom there, I think, with the top plate, and then you've got the
engine,
the
and then
exhaust.
we've got your launch ramp in 3 sections with the scaffolding that goes around it, the end of it. This is the other end of it, I believe.
Yes, it is, yeah. And that makes quite a long piece as well. It's a good couple
nice
of inches.
chunky component.
Yep.
Right, we then get the
Pack 40.
Pack 40s.
That's right, yes. That's 7.5 centimeter anti-tank gun.
Now, even
Germans.
these could be quite dangerous to Allied vehicles.
Yeah,
They've got
absolutely.
enough punch to them. So you've got your wheels, you've got some ammo stowage, you've got a little pioneering tool plate here.
Yeah.
You've got the main gun shield, you've got the main carriage, and the main gun here.
Yep.
And all of your crew for that is on the sprues as well. You get 2 thereof.
There is 2 of them, yeah, and I say everything else is on the sprue. Yep.
Now, I am curious to have a look at this, because this is our infantry.
Yeah.
In here, we're going to have main infantry, and we're also going to have some vehicle commanders.
That's right, yeah.
Nice. So your vehicle commanders, all on one sprue. I assume there is German and American ones in here. And are they marked? They are not, but I'm sure it's in the rules. Or in
Yes,
the
it's in the instruction manual. You've got the different options for them. And on the main sprues, you've also got some alternate commanders as well, Germans and British as well, if somebody wanted to make British Shermans.
Ah, I see. Now, quick check for me will be, are these 2 sprues identical?
They are not.
They are.
They are not, actually.
Really?
Really. So if you look down the bottom here,
Okay.
you've got the separate sprues for the 60mm Americans. And then on the alternate...
So I look at this, and that looks like an identical sprue to me, but there's a little bit of change on this reel here, you're saying?
That's right, yeah. So it's basically 60mm mortar for the Americans. And then you've also got, I think, the option for the...
Yeah, so we've got some guys with Panzerfaust on here, some guys with rifles, MP40s. We've got, oh, that's a nice pose there, because he's actually got the stick pouches on him as well. You've got some command elements in there. Now, the Americans and the Germans are both on the same sprue, so be careful of that, guys, whenever you're splitting the boxes down if it's you and a mate jumping in.
Yeah, it's not just a case of giving one sprue to you and one to your mate.
Yeah, and then on this side, we can see what you were talking about, that slight change in it. I like this guy running around with I think that's a BAR, if I remember right, or is it? Is it an MP32 maybe?
I think it'll probably be
this guy here.
Yeah, so that'll be the light machine gun, the 1918 machine gun there he's got.
Yeah, and then we've got a nice little 30 cal crew in here as well for your Americans.
Yes.
30 cals were quite prevalent in their forces.
Yes, yeah, and that's where they're getting the heavy firepower down range to get rid of the enemy, really.
Yeah, well, I mean, like it's something I've mentioned quite a lot whenever I'm talking about American gear, because the one you always think of for the support weapon was an odd one, the BAR.
Yep.
Which had a very small ammo capacity for being a support weapon.
Yeah,
and it was quite the brute of a thing. The interesting thing for it, for me, historically, they actually had it during World War One. They didn't actually deploy it because they were scared the Germans would get their hands on it. So they actually issued their guys the French Shona, which was a piece of crap. No, this thing had a banana mag.
Yeah.
So half
all the way on the bottom,
Yeah. With the sides cut out in trench warfare. With the spring leaf spring to actually feed your rounds.
Yeah, and the amount of stoppages. Yeah.
It's just gummed up to hell.
Yeah.
Like, I've heard stories on documentaries of American soldiers just dumping it and grabbing German gear to work with.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me at all. No, the BAR was a experimental weapon that they wanted to go with, but they didn't want to lose it, like you say, yeah.
Yeah, but it's still an odd one. I mean, like, there are some very odd weapons between the different nations. But anyway, everybody, that is Hit the Beach for Flames of War 4th. Drop your comments in below. Tell us what you think. Is this the set that's going to get you into this game? Myself and Chris will move on. We will see you again very soon.
Visit OnTableTop.com and comment on all 3 days of the Flames of War bootcamp to be in with a chance of winning one of 3 Flames of War bundles.
Hi everybody, we're back at the Flames of War boot camp. I've stopped off with Jerry to have a bit of a tactical chat about what folks are getting in the box this weekend. So Jerry, Hit the Beach, what are the guys getting?
They're getting a German infantry company with tank support, and they're getting an American tank company with infantry support. So 2 similar but yet different forces.
Now, each force in here is rocking in at around the 50-point mark. So what would you say are the best tactics and tactical options for people to just play with for their first games?
There's a couple of things. So first off, the Americans over here have 8 tanks and only 1 platoon of men. And so they play very differently from the Germans, and it looks like it's unbalanced to begin with. So we have a Sherman HQ and a platoon of Shermans. These have all got 75mm guns. They're comparable to the Panzer IVs in this game. They're good. They've got decent armour at the front. They've got better armour on the side than the Germans, so that's all good. But the big hitters are these guys over here, which are the 76mm, so the upgun Shermans. And the idea with the Americans is you need to use the advantages of the stabilizers. So the Shermans can move and keep their full rate of fire, but they become a little bit more unwieldy to shoot at. So they get a penalty, but they're firing in more shots all the time.
So that's that gung-ho, fire, fire, fire.
Yeah. Infantry are great for digging in on objectives and that sort of thing. With the Rangers, they have a bazooka team, and they also have mortar, which gives them a chance to do a bit of artillery, a bit of suppression. And, you know, they can be very tenacious when they're on an objective. Now, the Americans have the benefit of additional armour, but where the Germans really excel is move. So it's all about the blitzkrieg. So even though they've only got 3 Panzer IVs and it looks like they're outmatched, they have a special rule where they can move through a movement order like a blitz, fire at their full rate of fire, and then do an additional move, so they can actually pop out.
Oh, so they can shoot and scoot.
Well, but they can do both in the same turn, so they can pop out, shoot, and then retreat. Everybody can do a shoot and scoot or a blitz. Germans can do them both at once, which means they can use the fact that they're outnumbered and use the terrain to the best of their abilities. They also have a couple of anti-tank guns, the 7.5 centimetre packs, which are as devastating as a tank, and because they're infantry, they're very difficult to get rid of. So you want to dig those into some terrain, you want to keep them concealed, and then if you can, hit the side armour. If you hit the front armour, you're still going to do a hell of a lot of damage. And they've got 2 platoons of infantry. And the infantry, again, have things like the Panzerschreck. So they're very good at tank assaults. So for the Germans, they need to use the fact that they've got the manoeuvre to compensate for the fact that they've got less armour, and then use their infantry to the best effect they can. They've got a very small amount of infantry opposing them, and infantry on infantry assaults tend to be bloody affairs, but they've still got more than enough in their arsenal to actually deal with the Yanks.
Very cool, Jerry. Very, very cool. Anything else to say on it? No?
No, I think they've been a lot of fun. We played a couple of quick games. When I say a couple of quick games, we played a couple of games last night to get some of the lads into it, and we haven't seen any assaults yet. And I don't think anybody's realised just how devastating assaults can be.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to get rid of infantry through shooting because people like to live, so they dig in and find any cover they can. When people start assaulting, that's when the game changes.
Yeah. So knives out.
It's get into a position, get the entrenching tools out, and just batter somebody to death with a shovel.
I see. Right. I have one question as well. So.
Yes.
We've seen the Americans, we've seen the Germans. What about that little Soviet forces over here? What do we do with that?
Where did that come from, Captain Alpha Strike? I'll tell you how we deal with that. We go next door to get my Yag Tigers and Yag Panthers out of the bag, and that's how we deal with that.
Oh, come on. I actually have it pointed so that it's an even pointed force.
It's not too bad, actually. You've got the small tankettes aren't going to do a huge amount of damage. You could remove those with the Panzerschrecks and infantry assaults.
Yeah, that's the T-70s.
Yep. T-34s will do a similar job to the Panzer IVs and the Shermans. That's, a balanced match. They're going to be...
Yeah, there's a couple of 85s in there as well.
Yeah, it's just a gun variant. So the armour is what's important in removing them, not worrying about what gun is, because the guns will pretty much start to kill off things regardless whether it's a 76 or an 85. Your KVs and your ISUs are going to be the annoying ones, though, because they're built like bricks, in which case you want to get round the side. And again, assaults are a good way to do it. Get your infantry into the sides, and then whenever they assault, they get to hit the top armour. And you can choose to hit the side armour with Panzerschrecks and bazookas. At that point, these things go away. But this is where you need the German manoeuvre, so you get round behind them and fire into the rear, or you use the fact that Americans can fire with the gyro stabilizers and then just get round the side and fire at full effect into their backsides. So yeah, it's all about taking the big things from the side, and the other stuff you can deal with piecemeal as you wish.
Got it. All right, well, everybody, I tell you what, drop your comments down below. What do you think of the forces for Flames of War 4th edition? We'll move on. We'll see you again soon.
Visit OnTableTop.com and comment on all 3 days of the Flames of War bootcamp to be in with a chance of winning one of 3 Flames of War bundles.
Hi everybody, I am back with Chris from Battlefront, and today we're having a look at the American Starter Force. So this is one of your big army bundles, yeah?
Yeah, this is the army deal for people that want to go really hard, really big into Flames of War, Late War Edition.
Yeah, sounds very American to me.
Absolutely, gung-ho all the way.
Okay, so as you can see from the front of the box, you get a ton of stuff in the box. We'll flip it over and we'll actually do a bit of a rundown. So we've got 5 M4 Shermans with 76 mils. We've got 2 M4 Shermans with 75 mils. 3 M7 Priests. 3 M10 Tank Destroyers. We've got 3 Stuarts. We've got a ton of infantry and some half-tracks. So this is everything a growing boy or girl needs to get into Flames of War.
It certainly is. 20 tanks, 14 gun teams. It's essentially a whole army right there in the box.
Right. Open it up.
Let's get in here. Let's get in here.
I'm going to let you do the digging. Okay, hang on. Before we even pull anything out, I want to show. Just look how tightly packed this box is.
I don't think that's going back in there. Not in the way that they've managed to get it in the warehouse.
I assume you have some packing gremlins who are just really good at it.
Yeah, we're going to have to bring some people with me next time. My whole luggage, eh? Right then, let's get it going. So that is your pile of goodness right there.
Now, one thing you get in here, which I quite like, is you get the branded Start Here booklet. So this is your gateway in. So it's going to run you through what you're building,
Yep.
how you're building it. It's got a little look at all the different variants up the top, just in case you want to get spicy with it.
Yep.
And then you've got your new army, nice little sheet here. And then on the back, a bit of a chat about what's next.
Certainly
I always
is.
like it whenever companies consider where a player should go after their first steps.
Yep.
Because sometimes I've got into games and I've hit that roadblock of, oh, where do I go from here?
Yeah, absolutely. And we're making it as easy as possible for people to add to their armies so they can start this off. Once they're getting involved, they know what units they want to take next, and everything will be ready to go for each release.
Yeah. Okay, let's start digging in. So first off, we've got some, I believe this is all American. Yes, it's all American infantry because it's the American box.
It's American box, yep.
So let's jump right into it. So we've got some guys with bazookas, some with rifles. Is that a Sten?
He'll have an SMG, I believe, so that'll be the Thompson there.
Yeah. We've got mortar crew here. So always nice to have. They're very useful. We've got a nice little 30 cal here. We've got more riflemen, and we've got guys with bazookas. 2 sprues of the exact same stuff, I believe. I'm just going to line them up and double check for you. It helps if I line them up the correct direction.
Yep, so it should be the same sprue.
Everybody's the same.
Good. We've passed the first test then. And that is the basis of your rifle platoons for the American Army, or with the M3 half-tracks, it can make an armoured rifle platoon, of course.
Yes. Now, the half-track kits that you guys do are beautiful because you actually do the 2 variants that were made during the war.
Yes, that's right.
It was one of the cool things about the war was whenever they were actually looking for armored vehicles, they literally turned to the automotive industry and they started saying, okay, we're stopping making cars, we're making tanks and half-tracks.
Yep, off we go.
Yeah, so we've got main body here, we've got turret ring here, we've got the crew compartment here, we've got, I think this is a front bumper because I can see a winch line on here.
Yep.
You've got your track units here, you've got a little armor plate here, and then this is the part I was talking about. So the 2 companies that made this did it slightly different. So you'll notice the fenders are different and the rear of the vehicle is very slightly different, I think.
Yeah, I think it's maybe on the inside, I think it's slightly different.
Yes, so you can actually see the components here where it's different.
Yep.
You've got your tires, you've got your axle, and you've got 2 50 cals, a couple of 30 cals, I believe.
Yep.
And another component here. I actually have an interesting story for half-tracks.
Oh, go on then.
So John, his dad collects World War II vehicles.
Yep.
And they used to own a half-track. And I used to do reenactment with John. And he took me for a spin in the half-track one day at a show. So there's me up in the turret ring, hanging onto a 50 cal, bouncing around. This is great. John hits a bump.
Yeah.
And I get fired back into the turret ring. I thought I'd broken my back. It was like, no, John, he's up.
Solid
oh, God.
steel behind you. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
dude. So if you're ever in one of these, be careful. Although John has the best story because that particular half track, they took it out to one of the firing ranges out here, and they got to fire off war-issued rounds one time on a range that they were just getting rid of them, and they thought, you know what, let's bring it in, let's load it up, and let's have a go.
Yeah. That's reenactment to the next level, isn't it?
God, I was so jealous of him. I mean, like, I have fired a 50 cal off of a Hellcat.
Yep.
And that was fun because that day, it was basically end of the day, we had a half belt of ammunition left. The owner says, anybody want a blat? I'm the only one to put my hand up. So I get up, smiling away, get in front of it, and just start chugging away. CEO runs up, stop, stop, stop! Oh crap, what gun safety have I forgot? No, it pulls out his camera.
Just take a photo of you going away at it.
This
Brilliant.
video, yeah. All right,
Brilliant.
so these, I believe, are the priests.
They are indeed, yep.
So we have, what is that component?
So that bit there is the main body of the top. It goes over the top, and then the priest body goes over the top of that.
I gotcha. All right, so we've got lower hull, middle hull, upper hull. We've then got side skirts, tracks, main gun, transmission, a couple of machine guns here, some stowage, and then the rear of the vehicle here. You've also got a little turret ring here and a spare wheel.
Yep.
The only time I have ever used these would actually be digitally when I was playing World of Tanks.
Okay,
I used
yeah.
to love playing in these because it was just hide in a bush, wait for someone to fire, and have them.
Absolutely. Well, M7 priests are going to come into their own with the D-Day American book for when we're attacking the beach, quite literally.
Yep.
Because obviously, as soon as they come off landing craft, they can go straight into action. They are self-propelled artillery. That's their job.
Yeah.
So you'll be definitely seeing quite a few armies with those, I believe.
All right. We have our standard Sherman sprue, which we have seen now. So lower hull, upper hull, transmission, rear of the vehicle, different transmission, gun mantlet, cupola, machine gun, main gun, stowage and turret peg, more stowage here, main gun here, lower turret, upper turret, tracks, side skirts, and another bit of the gun mantlet there.
Yep.
Whew. I need to disengage the Ace Ventura voice.
So obviously that's your 75mm Sherman, and then this bit is to make
this is our
the
upgrade
Shermans.
sprue.
Yep.
So we've got upper hull, which then combines with the standard sprue, upper turret, lower turret, main gun, rear of the hull, another part of, what is it? That's the mantlet.
Yep.
And then we've got a hatch.
Yep.
So super simple to do the upgrades on it, but you can build it whichever way you prefer.
Yep, you certainly can. So that's 76 and 75mm covered in there for you.
We then have one of the cutest vehicles of the war. The
Yep.
Stuart.
Love
I have
these.
actually stood beside one of these, and they are really dinky, super cute, and I kind of want one.
Drive to work every day in the commute.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so we've got spare track and stowage, which is going around your turret along here.
Yep.
We've got a little gun here, the teeny weeny, I think it's a 2-pounder this thing carries,
I think so, yeah. It's
or the American equivalent.
Yeah.
We've got back of the hull, we've got another bit of stowage here, we've got the turret itself, we've got your track sections. This is kind of cool because you've actually got a piece that goes onto the side of the turret that already has a 30 cal on it.
Yep.
Main gun, we've got a couple of components here. Now, what are these? Are these different fronts of the hulls for a different variant?
So yeah, you can have the M3 or the M5, and I think they might have snuck some bits for the M8 as well in here. So if you really want to, you can obviously upgrade it to an M8 Stuart as well.
Gotcha. We've then got the side skirts, gun mantlet, little hull-mounted machine gun, I think, more 30 cals, and your turret components here. These things are just cute as sin, and I'm very curious to see how they play on the tabletop.
Yeah, I mean, in my armored core, I've actually I've taken 5 of these.
Really?
They were that nice. I made 10, and each one's individually named. We've got
Nice.
Doris, we've got Amanda, we've got Betty. They're all great.
Nice.
They're all super cute.
I would go for like old comedians, so call one Charlie Chaplin, one Larry, one
Yeah.
Curly, one Mo. All right, we then get our M10s, which we've seen
Yep.
before. So the M10, we get the upper hull, lower hull, rear of the hull, turret components, gun components, transmission components. These are the anti-ditching components.
Yep.
We then have some stowage. We have 2 turret pegs and a couple of 50 cals here. I do love the fact that you guys give extra machine guns just in case they break.
Yeah, because it
Nice
does
kind of
happen when
thought.
they're in boxes and things, doesn't it?
Yep. We've then got some stowage, another lower part of a hull, 2 variant hull tops here.
Yep.
And then we've got 3 gun mantlets, 3 breaches, more stowage, and the tracks.
Yep. There's a lot of bits of kit on these sprues at the moment.
But
We're
wait,
really...
Johnny, there's more.
There certainly is.
So we get a lot. Oh, now what are these guys?
So these are for the priest. So these are the Americans that can stand in the back of the priest. One's loading, obviously, the ammunition into the breech itself, and then the other guy is sort of pulling the lever or shouting fire, and they stand in the back. So that's the soft plastic.
We then got some hard plastic stuff here. So we've got what appears to be some riflemen and specialist weapons.
Yep, so these are BARs for your armoured rifle teams and your NCOs. So these are essentially the upgrades for the basic rifle sprue. And you should have a couple of those in there
Yep,
that
we've
do
got
that.
Tank commanders.
Yep.
More tank commanders. More tank commanders.
Yep.
More.
And then them ones there that are sitting down are for the back of the half tracks. So that's crew for the half tracks. And then you've also got the options for putting people standing up, firing the gun on the on that turret ring you're talking about. So basically one of them is you, with his nice bruise on his back.
Oh no, I was limping for the rest of the day. It was actually, I think, the first year I did reenactment with John.
Yeah.
And he actually gave me his Thompson to tote around for the day.
Oh, excellent.
So he did me up in full kit, and I was actually super surprised at just how heavy a Thompson submachine gun is.
Yeah.
It's a small weapon, but it's hefty.
Yeah, it's got a bit of chunk to it, hasn't it?
Yeah. Now, also, you're going to get all the unit cards and your transfers. I like the fact you guys do your transfers on blue, so I can actually see what I'm looking at a lot easier.
Yep.
You've got your main rulebook, and then you've got a quick start guide in here as well, just to get you up and running.
Absolutely.
Whew. You get a lot in this one.
You do. I'd say that's how big the box is. And the great thing about these army deals is you don't need to have a starter set to be able to play the game, as you can see with a quick start and the core rules.
Exactly.
I mean, it's nice to have the starter set and this because you can add to the starter set.
Yeah. But I mean, it's one of those things that I like because there are times I've came to a game where there's a 2-player starter set out there.
Yeah.
My mate likes a faction. I don't like the other. With this, it doesn't matter who you're wanting to fight against who, you can just do it.
Absolutely. And there is 4 main army deals. We've got obviously the Americans we've just looked at.
Yeah.
I guess in other videos it would be good to go through the other ones. We've got British, Soviet and German.
Yeah.
And there's just such a plethora of kit out there at the moment that we're really enjoying, putting these together as well.
Mm-hmm. Right, well, I'll let you know which one I'm tempted by whenever we get there. So I'll make everybody wait for that one. But everybody, I'll tell you what, drop your comments in below. Tell us, what do you think of the American starter force for Flames of War 4th? It looks like a great way to get in. You're getting lots of armored support in there. Are you someone who is maybe going to take this and then expand it into a nice, big, chunky force with more and more tanks? Or do you want to throw some infantry in there whenever you expand? We'll move on. We'll see you again soon.
Visit OnTableTop.com and comment on all 3 days of the Flames of War bootcamp to be in with a chance of winning one of 3 Flames of War bundles.
Hello guys, as you can see I'm back in the gaming space and there's plenty of games and stuff going on around. Even a couple of the reenactors are getting to go in at that. Although hiding a tiger tank behind a building seems a bit counterproductive. How would I know? I don't do German stuff, I wouldn't know. So I've come to this table here because Chris is running through a little bit of a demo game with 2 of our attendees. And I thought, Chris...
John.
Hello. I want to ask a couple of questions because
Absolutely.
You're currently helping these 2 guys get to grips with the game.
Yes, we are.
And I want to ask one simple question. It probably doesn't have a simple answer. What is the best way to introduce a game to 2 new players?
Okay, the way that I always do it when we're at conventions or anything like that, running a demo game, is to make it exciting, get everything being killed or you doing the killing. Now, it's obviously quite hard because we're really balanced forces in this hit the beach box, but at the moment we are literally charging forward as quick as we can, and we're going to get as much firepower down on the range in the shooting phase so that everyone's having a bit of a good time and there's not too much standing around. Although Jan at the moment is stood there just kind of like, just waiting for something to happen. But in his turn in a minute, everything's going to charge forward and we're going to get everything dying on one side or the other. So basically that's what I do. I make it really exciting, just get everybody involved as best we can for it.
Yep.
Don't want to get too bogged down with the rules because I tend to forget them. But yeah, it normally works to my advantage, so we're all good on that one.
So the key to a good demo game, particularly to new players, is tempo and excitement.
Absolutely, yeah. So if you're ever introducing your friend to it, make it as exciting as possible. If you can, dumb the rules down a little bit. In the Hit the Beach box set, you've got the quick start rules, which is just basically get it on the table, get playing. But then you move to the rule book and you've got all the different possibilities to make it as complex as you want to, really, for it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And it looks like these 2 are having fun at least. So
yeah, we are at the moment. So we're just pre-measuring now just to check to see whether anything's in range, to see if we can get some damage on it. And Paul's not actually played a game of Flames of War before, so this is his first time learning the unit cards for version 4. Jan had a quick game yesterday, so he's telling me the rules already. Excellent, which is what I love to see. But yeah, we're about to start shooting some things, and that's going to make everything die, basically.
awesome. Well, we're going to get out of the way while the shells begin to fly. So guys, hope you enjoyed that little one. You can see tempo and excitement very important in your first game of anything in particular. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, comment to win all the great prizes that are going up this weekend as well, and keep in touch with the live blog, and we will see you in the next video.
Visit OnTableTop.com and comment on all 3 days of the Flames of War bootcamp to be in with a chance of winning one of 3 Flames of War bundles.
Hi everybody, we're back at the Flames of War Bootcamp for another kit chat. We have some new reenactors in today, so we have Carl and Nelson. So, Carl, what have you guys brought along?
Well, basically what we are today is, I'm portraying the 21st Panzer Division in the Normandy campaign, and Nelson's portraying the Fallschirmjäger Regiment 6 in specifically the Battle of Carentan in France as well.
I see. Now, if you want to quickly run me through boots to helmet, what you guys are each wearing. So do you want to start with Nelson?
I'll start with Nelson. So first down here we've got the Type 2 jump boots. These were designed so they can be used, jump out of planes and so on. Very good leg support and everything. Up here he's got his jump trousers, which on the side he has a pocket which is for his gravity knife, which was used if he was stuck and so on. Moving up, we've got his iconic piece of equipment, his smock, which is a Splinter B camouflage. His equipment, he's got his belt, as you can see there, he's got his Luftwaffe belt buckle. Then he's got his bandolier, which would hold rounds for his K98 date rifle. If you want to turn around. In the back here, he's got his bread bag with his canteen and metal cup, his gas mask bag, which obviously held his gas mask, and holding all this up, he's got his Y straps. Turn around. And up here, we've got his jump helmet, a unique piece that basically the Germans, they knew that they couldn't jump out of planes with the standard helmet, so they just cut off the sides and made a sort of a harness just to give more, stabilizations and so on.
Mm-hmm. Now, the standard weapon, the K98 rifle, do you know much about it?
Yeah. The K98 rifle, it's a 7.92 round. They were loaded in a stripper clip of 5, and they were loaded in like so. This example is a 1943 dated. You can just see up there. And
so this was an original piece. This is not a replica.
No, this is an original piece. Yeah.
I assume fully deactivated.
100%. Yeah. And these were standard issue throughout the war. There was slight designs. There was shorter butt plates. There was different bayonet lugs and so on. So that's pretty much it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now your own kit, boots to helmet.
Okay.
What have you got?
At the bottom there, I've got ankle boots or low boots. And then I've got my gaiters, which pretty much just keep my trousers from falling out. Moving up, I've got my smock. This is actually a stump smock, or if you want a tandem water smock. It was not reversible, so it is white on the other side, but it's not reversible at all. My belt, I've got my pouches for the rifle, my Y straps which hold all of this up. Moving it around, I've got my bayonet for the rifle, bread bag with my mess tin, canteen for food and so on, my Zeltbahn, which was like a poncho, and then on top I've got my metal gas mask canister, again for my gas mask. And on top I've got a standard M35 helmet with splinter cover.
Now there's one other piece of kit that you have that Lewis was talking about yesterday, which is the egg grenade. So how did the design of this actually differ from most others?
Lewis, do you want to speak about it?
If you come here, Lewis, just come here, just so I can do this.
Well, in fairness, the only real design difference was the fact that it was, well, like I said yesterday, it was grenade shaped, or what everyone thinks a grenade shape is. Like you said, the biggest problem this thing had was if you threw it up a hill, it tended to come back. As you can see, the difference, or the similarity with the stick grenade I showed you yesterday was the ring pull.
Yeah. Now, is this still that 3-second timer?
It's about 3. It depends on what the fuse was like, because you got to remember at this stage of the war, production quality was down the toilet.
Okay, so you might have pulled this and just went whoop.
Potentially, or it didn't even go off.
All right.
So it may have had no explosives at all, or the fuse broke.
I see.
So, one thing I will add is what Nelson's wearing at the minute. So you know that with the likes of the parachute regiment, British Army, they pride themselves in their red beret, which is what they earned through doing their the selection process. What Nelson has underneath his is, in fact, I'll hold it up. So this is a Fliegerblues. So this is what the Fallschirmjäger were. This was their uniform whenever they passed out. Whenever they finished their jumps, they got a jump badge. So that silver thing there. This is also a Blitzkrieg, or not Blitzkrieg, assault badge for participating. Was it 2 assaults?
I'm not too sure, but if it was a ground assault badge.
Ground assault badge. So once you participated in so many attacks or so many defenses, you got that award. But this thing is the Fallschirmjäger treated this like their maroon beret. Yeah. It was a mark of pride.
Yeah, their mark of honor.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And I think, is there any? Oh yeah, that was the other thing I meant to mention. Yesterday, I mentioned the lightweight Y straps. So we've got our leather ones here. So these are the leather ones I was talking about. Yeah, the heavy duty ones. And then Nelson, you want to turn around for me? So he's got what was the lightweight ones, which, as you can see, are super, super thin. Mm-hmm. You see a lot of pictures of the Fallschirmjäger wearing them because, well, they're lightweight. So if they're jumping out of aircraft, they're not having to worry about a heavyweight load on them. Yeah. You also see a lot of members of the Wehrmacht, Panzer Grenadiers wearing them too. It was just whatever you got, or it was preference.
Yeah. Now there is one thing I'm noticing between the three of you reenactors is whenever we think of the Germans in movies and stuff, we think grey. But the range of colours you guys are wearing is really out there.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons that I suppose it's another thing you were talking about, the range of colours, like the different patterns here. So you've got Splinter A for the Fallschirmjäger, which is, to go into technicality, Splinter B, which is different from Splinter A, which is what you see the Wehrmacht. In fact, there you go, Splinter A
on the helmet.
So that's the army camouflage version. This is the Luftwaffe version. As you can see, it's a lot more angular. And another thing that I suppose from our point of view, and is a lot of German reenactors, is the Germans in, like you mentioned, Hollywood, the Germans are always usually portrayed as two things: psychopaths or complete bumbling idiots. That was you couldn't get further from the truth. These guys were professional soldiers and put up a very, very hard fight battle in Normandy, especially the guys in the Atlantic Wall. Some of them were not as highly trained as everybody else, but they knew what they were doing.
Professional army.
They were a professional army, yeah. But yeah, you're right with the colours. There's a wide range of colours and sizes, and as you can see, my trousers are the same as Carl's, but they're completely different shade.
Boots, belts, and braces are different.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, now you have one last piece of kit here that you wanted to talk about.
One I was actually asked to talk about. Now we don't have the implement to fire it, but this would go on the end of that. So there was an attachment that would go around the barrel. You'd load this into the end. Now there were two different types. So there was a high explosive grenade. So these are rifle grenades, by the way. There was a high explosive grenade, which was basically the same diameter as this part here, which was your propellant charge and everything on the inside. That was for taking out infantry. So that was just a fragmentation grenade. This one here is a little bit more special. It's an anti-tank one.
What?
Yeah, so these were loaded in for taking out light vehicles like your half-tracks or maybe even your Stuart-like tanks.
So if you get the right angle on it.
Oh yeah, definitely. It's a shaped charge. It's like the Panzerfaust. So there's like a cone in the inside which is inverted. So if you imagine that you can see in the camera there that it's tapering towards the front, the cone is tapering towards the back. And what would happen is there was an explosive in the head. Whenever that hit the outside of your tank, that ignited, liquefied the cone in the inside of the actual or the inside of the grenade. The resultant change in pressure in there, because it's sealed, turns the cone inside out and turns it into a jet of hot copper, which then burns through the outside of your tank and sets off anything that's in the inside.
So if you could hit an ammo rack or something with that, absolutely, you're going to do major damage.
You wouldn't kill a Sherman with it. These were only designed for a certain depth, and it wasn't that great. You'd want a Panzerfaust or a Panzer Schreck for that. But what you do is you'd load that into the front, you'd load a blank into the end of or into your chamber, and then you'd fire it at the end, and this would go, as you can see here, there's like rifling, like a rifle bullet. So what would happen is whenever that came out, I would be spinning, which meant it would keep it more accurate and it wouldn't go off target as easily. The nickname, it was a grenade launcher, but the actual official name and nickname of it was known as the Scheissbecher.
What's more?
Scheissbecher.
Okay.
Which means, well, I can't really say it on camera, can I? But you can sort of Google it.
Google Translate is your friend right now.
But that's basically what they were, and you carry them in. They're like bags. It's sort of like a grenade bag.
Yeah.
Around so you'd see guys with like a grenade bag that went round their neck. It was like almost like a leather tab or a canvas tab, and there'd be two bags, and they'd load them into that. They'd also load stick grenades into them too, but it was easier to carry them like that because then you just
pull it out, drop it in, off you go.
Off you went, yeah.
All right, well, guys, thank you very much for taking us through the kit. It's always a pleasure, and Everybody, I tell you what, get your comments in below if you have any questions. I'm sure the guys will be about. I'm sure Lewis will probably poke his nose onto the website.
Absolutely.
We'll move on. We'll see you again soon.
Visit OnTableTop.com and comment on all 3 days of the Flames of War Bootcamp to be in with a chance of winning one of 3 Flames of War bundles.
Hello everyone, and as per your requests from yesterday's comments, I am back annoying people, which is great. So, let's start with these 3 poor buggers here, shall we? Bob? Yep. How you doing?
Oh, brilliant. I've got all my Shermans. I'm about to virtually finish them. I've even named them all.
You actually went in and named them all too. That's nice. That's a nice touch, huh?
Yeah, if you actually know there's a theme, I've gone all Deep Purple song titles for. Apart from one that I've named Lulu Bell after a particular film, The Sahara. If I can find her. Fireball. Could be that one. Yeah, Lulu Bell after a grant that was in the film The Sahara with Humphrey Bogart. So I'd have to name it after that.
So you're enjoying it then? If you're having time to name your tanks, I think you're enjoying it, yeah?
Yep. Yeah, really am, yeah.
Right, good stuff. Let's move along. Let's move along the line. Hello, Surgeon.
Raise my glasses.
I seen those yesterday and I was like, oh, that's good.
You even have a light on them.
It's fantastic. So how are you getting on?
Brilliant. I succumbed and bought another box of American.
You went out and bought the big box.
I bought the big box so that by the end of this I'll have a full army, so full 100 point.
Planning ahead.
Yeah.
That's very good.
Right. Laughing boy. Hello. What?
Hands and faces is what I'm currently doing.
So you're taking a similar approach to war in faces, bases, and
Yeah, so I'm going to get all the faces done, put a bit of flocking on the base, and then I'm going to wash it all.
Yeah.
And that'll pretty much be it done. Then I can play. And then with these, I'm going to do a bit of pin washing on the panels, rather than just go all over, because I think it'll go a bit weird. And then try and do a very quick camo on it.
Yeah.
So hopefully next couple of hours, and then I'll get on the table and start playing.
I have to ask you, because you said something very quick there, and it just struck a note in my head. Do you like to paint to a certain standard before you play?
Yeah, I'd feel a bit weird if I put it on the table and I haven't put some effort into it. So I have to be careful though, because I could get sucked into this and then realise Sunday evening will come and I haven't actually played a game. So I'm kind of going to give myself a time limit of maybe a couple of hours and then get on the table.
What if I tell you for 1 hour?
Huh?
1 hour?
No.
All right.
Maybe 3 hours.
Hour and a half?
Okay, an hour and a half.
Hour and 45 then, maybe. I'll give you an hour and 45, and if they're not on the table, I'll be talking to you again, okay?
No problem. Cheers.
All right, guys, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, get your comments down below for a chance to win all the prizes we have available this weekend. And until next time, see you again soon.
Visit OnTableTop.com and comment on all 3 days of the Flames of War Bootcamp to be in with a chance of winning one of 3 Flames of War bundles.
Hi everybody, we're back at the Flames of War Bootcamp. I have stopped off with some of the gamers because we are now into gaming. Warren is playing. How are you getting on, Warren?
Are
you dead yet?
No.
Is he dead yet?
No, he's not dead. I'm playing Commodore Rob.
Yeah.
We're having a blast, aren't we, Rob? Look, and see the way he just left me hanging. See the way he left me hanging there? We're doing well.
He's not wearing his glasses. He can't see.
So we're playing Assault on V1 Castle. So this is it. We've been working months towards this. So what we have is we have an objective in the center. Okay, and Rob's obviously deployed his Yanks over there, and I have.
I see them quite well concealed.
Yes, he's playing a really. Oh yeah. He's very, very good. He's very tactical, you might say.
Okay.
But I'm not doing too bad myself. I have a bunch of guys here dug in, just waiting for their opportunity to go charging in to get the deployment. We've got some hidden objectives as well. So we're working on some.
So Warren's objective is No, I'm not doing that to
I've
him.
already revealed it by mistake anyway. So, yeah, I'm very, very pleased with everyone's going with. Rob's popped a bit of smoke. That's one of the things I love about this game. There's a couple. Right, let me run down my top loves of this game because it's all coming back to me now. One, it's so cinematic. Because we're that level up again, and you get so much more on the table, every time you get down, because I'm just down watching everything move around, because there's more of it, it's just so cinematic. I just love it. Secondly, the tactical elements, like Rob pops smoke from a mortar almost way at the back here, right? And the way he did it was he ranged in on a tall building that he was able to see. He couldn't see exactly the point where he wanted to pop the smoke, so he got another command unit to radio into him where the tall building was, and then popped within the range of the tall building.
That's clever.
It's so mechanically rich. You know, it's really, really nice. Deployed packs. I'm not finished, Justin. Don't go away, man.
But wait, there's more.
There's more. I've deployed my packs. I'm about to do a tank assault.
Oh.
So if there's a spot prize for first tank assault, I'm about to do it.
I'm sorry, you work here. You're not allowed.
I've been working so hard to try and get a spot prize.
Prestige.
I get the prestige, yeah. So no, we're having a blast, and it's all thanks to this big man here. He's GMing this for us, taking us through it. You know, we're getting to grips with everything. You know, Flames of War, it's much streamlined 4th edition, but there's still tons there to get your teeth into. Like, I mean, loving it so far.
Awesome. All right, well, here, I'm going to take a little bit of a walk around here and see who else is playing what. So we do have games happening all over the place. It is all Germans versus Americans. Although, actually, I'm going to stop in with John from Battlefront here. John, hello. I'm just wondering, you're teaching our reenactors to play?
Yes, I am trying my very best.
What are they learning? Is it full Flames or is this Fury?
This is just pretty much the Fury box set with a little bit of adaptation. We actually put in a Tiger instead, and he has been an absolute monster at the moment. But we've also got the 76s, so there's definitely plenty of ability to kill it as well.
Fantastic.
Now, the dice roll, that's something else to be desired.
How are you finding your first experience of tabletop gaming?
Yeah, it's really good. Didn't expect it to be this fun. It's quite interesting.
It's addictive, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I see, selling.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, so what do the guys have here to work with overall?
So 3 tanks. We've got 2 Sherman 76mm and then a basic Sherman with a 75mm who's right here. The German side has a Panzer IV, which unfortunately is a casualty, and a Tiger 1. So obviously the Tiger 1 is the big front armoured and heavy shot boy, and at the moment the casualties are 1 each. We've lost a Sherman 76 over here and a Panzer IV. We've got a very aggressive bit of action going on here where a counter-strike has come down from the 76, but cunningly he's come through the buildings to try and keep his cover on. However, the dice have been a bit of a sadness for him, so even though he got the side shot on here, he couldn't hit the side of a barn door if it was right in front of him, which he proved.
Yeah.
But he's out of shot of here because of course he's in the building, and it'll all come down now to what the Sherman wants to do. This Sherman compared to the Tiger is very underpowered, so he's got a very thing. He's done the right move. Unfortunately, the dice in this particular case is there. So at the moment, the pressure is really on the American player, and we'll see what's going to go in this next turn.
All right, well, fantastic. Thank you, John.
Thank you very much.
Everybody, make sure and stay tuned because we have tons more happening here at the boot camp. The guys are still hobbying away, some of them. Other people are just diving right into the game, which is great to see. And don't forget, we have those 3 amazing bundles up for grabs, 1 each day. So if you want to jump back to yesterday's content, get some comments in there because you could win yourself a very, very cool prize. We'll move on and we'll see you again soon.
Visit OnTableTop.com and comment on all 3 days of the Flames of War bootcamp to be in with a chance of winning one of 3 Flames of War bundles.
Hi everybody, I'm back with Chris from Battlefront, and today we're having a look at Fury. So, this is a smaller set for getting folks into Flames of War. What's the idea behind this, Chris?
So the idea behind this one is it's very good for demonstration games for stores and for people who want to get their friends into the hobby. It's very simple to play because it's tank versus tank as opposed to complicating things with infantry.
Yeah.
And it's a two-player starter set as opposed to the complete way into Flames of War.
Yeah, no, I quite like the idea of this because let's say I'm wanting to get maybe a little brother or a little sister into the game. This might be the perfect thing for me to just pick up as a little gift for them to say, oh, you've seen me playing with my plastic men. You want to have a go-to? Here's a nice set for you that you can actually play, and then we can play together, and I can show you how it is, and actually use it as that, that first hit, if it makes sense.
Yeah, it's that introduction to it as opposed to going all out with the Hit the Beach box set. Yeah. So Fury's got its own place really within the range.
Yeah, well, it's something I notice sometimes whenever you try to bring someone into a new game, they get so overloaded with all the stats and all the different unit options.
Yeah,
having something super simple to just give them that taste and make them feel like they can play, they can take part without being overwhelmed.
Yeah, great. Without being confusing as well, isn't it? Yeah.
All right, so the box itself, gorgeous artwork, and inside, if I flip this over, we will see we're getting a big kitty, so we're getting a tiger, we're getting a Stug, we're getting 2 Shermans.
Yeah, so you got the 2 different options of Sherman here again. You got the 75mm and the 76mm,
and an M10 for the Americans. All right, let's crack this box open, Chris, and we'll start having a look at some of the sprues. Now, for me, the tiger, the big cat, is one of the most terrifying creations of World War II. Okay, you just pulled out something I absolutely love. To make a 2-player starter set, that intro set, super easy, having this cardboard terrain that you can just punch out and lay out on your kitchen table to say, okay, here is the idea of what we're doing, is fabulous.
It is, and it's the fact it's got objectives in there. We've got some tokens on the other side of the card as well. You can just see the outline of them.
Yeah.
It's everything that you need in this one box to real introduction to Flames of War.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So you were talking of your tiger, right? Yes. Let's get straight to the fun bit then. So this is your tiger straight away.
I like the way you don't tease these things.
Oh, not at all. Let's just jump straight in there.
Okay, so tiger. We've got the side skirts, both sort of roughed up and good. We've got that big 80. This was such a monster of a weapon during the war. We've got a jerry can, which if you ever wondered where a jerry can's name came from, this will be it. During the war.
Yeah, straight off.
We've got a little peel here. We've got the peg for your turret. Lower hull, upper deck, lower turret, cupolas.
Yep.
Stowage bin, spare track, spare track, spare track, spare track. I like the fact that you give us 2 of the hull-mounted machine guns, because if you break it, you've got a spare.
I've done that, and the other one where it pings off as you clip it off and you never find it.
Too many times.
Yeah.
We've got the rear of the main hull, front of the main hull. I like the way you've done your Zimmer on here. Gun mantlet, 2 tracks here. I'll flip these over so you can get a better look. These were the bane of some people's existence way back in the day. Because if you damage a inner road wheel, you have to take off everyone around it to get at it.
Yeah.
Great engineer in Germany. Great. We then have sides of the main hull, upper turret. Flip this over so that we can see. We've then got the front and the lower plate of the front of the hull. This is the monster. This is the one that I always look at and go, that looks like a tank. That feels like a tank. Had some engineering problems.
Yep.
But, it was one of those things. There was a certain amount of psychological warfare with this particular vehicle, which is why the Germans quite cleverly turned the Panzer IV and started adding components to it to make it have a silhouette similar to the Tiger.
Yeah, and the amount of American soldiers and British soldiers that said every German tank was a Tiger after that.
Exactly. But it was that whole thing of the Tiger is just such a monster. It's unkillable.
Yeah.
One of the best stories I ever heard was whenever the Tiger that Bovington Tank Museum have, the reason they have that is because of a lucky shot.
Yeah.
So they actually, I think it was a Churchill troop, fired at it, and the shell actually wedged into the turret ring and locked the turret. So the Germans actually abandoned the tank.
Yeah, that's it. We're out of here. Quick, off we go, lads.
Yeah. You've also got some glorious stories about, just survival. I mean, Shermans. They used to call them Tommy cookers. Mm-hmm. But one of the funniest ones I ever heard was, one day there was a trip of them heading out, right? And you always had one guy had to be in the front. So the man on point was going to take the first hit. So they drive out. And after a while, they take a hit. and they hear this massive bong, and then they get knocked down into a ditch. And they're going, okay, we're alive. We're alive. What hit us? An idiot. How'd we survive? No, don't care. We're alive. They get out and discover the idiot firing on them had actually ran out of armor-penetrating shells. So they were firing HE. Going, we'll have a go.
Yeah, just try it anyway.
Yeah. All right, we also get one of Warren's favorite, the Stug 3. Now, this little bad boy is very cool. Now, we've got 2 options for the upper hull here. Lower hull, we've got a couple options for the guns. We've got machine gun here, another couple options for the guns, cupolas. We've then got spare track, we've got your Schertzen, we've got your tracks. I'll flip this over. Tracks have a really nice detail on this. We've got some stowage bins. We've actually got a little bit of a plate that actually goes onto the front of the tank. And then we've got the ass end of the tank here. A couple of spare road wheels you can stick on as well.
Yep.
This little thing also has a great story with it, because Michael Wittmann used to drive one of these.
Yes, he did, yep.
And he is the only tank commander that I know of that has an unconfirmed submarine kill.
Okay, I didn't know that one. Go on.
Yeah, it was, he actually took a pot shot in I believe it was a Stug 3, I could be wrong here, at a sub, and he claimed to kill. So he has an unconfirmed submarine kill.
Amazing. I love it.
Okay, now the American side of things. Now, I assume this is a bit of a riff on the movie.
To some extent, yeah. So obviously you got a Tiger versus a Sherman in here. So the only difference with this Shermans is it's not the alt gun version that Brad Pitt was using in that one.
They actually kept that one movie ready in Bovington now.
Oh, I didn't know that. I haven't been down there.
They drive it out. Sometimes it's gorgeous. All right, so the first thing we come to is the M10.
Yep, so this is a really big sprue, this one. It's got quite a bit on it again.
So upper hull, lower hull, rear hull. We've got a bit of... this goes on the back of the tank somewhere. We've then got a couple of 50 cals, 2 pegs for the turret, bit of stowage, gun barrel. We've then got more guns here. The front of I believe it's the transmission. Yeah. We've then got a couple more bits here. I don't know what these are. What are these?
So what you've got
radiators or something?
They are what you would put onto the side of the M10, and they used to put like anti-bogging down strips on there, like logs and things like that.
Okay.
So it's an option that you can put onto there where they would basically take them out and they'd put them underneath the tracks and be able to drive straight out. So that's an option that you can put onto your kit again.
Clever. We've then got part of the turret here, lower turret here. We then come around to here. So we've got your tracks, stowage bin, fuel can, spare track, spare road wheel. What are these?
Right, so this kit actually makes 3 tanks. So you've got the M10, the British Achilles, and then you've also got the M36 as well. So there is a little bit of just sort of being careful which one you make up, but that's why we've got so many turret pegs so you can make the different options out of it, you see.
I like having that.
Yep.
All
so
right.
them 3 there are actually the inside of the turret. It's the breech.
I see. All right, so we've got another stowage bin here. We've got another lower turret here, stowage bin components here, and then we've got the 2 variants for the tops of the turret here, and here. We then have 3 different gun mantlets
for the 3 different guns that come for them. Yeah,
that's awesome. I like this. I'm very curious to see how it plays on the tabletop.
Yeah, I think a lot of British players will be looking forward to maybe taking M10s in their army.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and we'll discuss that one in another video. There's my little my one of the day tip of the day for you.
All right. So keep an eye out for the British. Okay, so we get 2 of the standard Sherman sprues in here and an upgrade sprue.
Yep.
So we have cupolas, 50 cals, gun, spare road wheel, bits of stowage, turret peg, fuel can, spare track, bit of canvas stowage here, main gun, transmission, gun mantlet, different transmission, rear of the lower hull itself, side skirts, track, turret top, turret bottom, and gun mantlet here. We then get the upgrade one. So this allows you to put on different type of turret, different type of upper hull, rear of the hull, different type of gun, rear of the tank, lower turret, different hatch. Ooh.
A lot of sprues in that box as well, considering.
Yeah. No, there's enough in here for someone to actually, cut their teeth on it.
Yep.
You know, start modeling, start learning how to use clippers, knives, how to clean up your mold lines and stuff without going nuts and just driving them away from it. We also get a tank commander sprue.
You certainly do, yep. So again, this is your British and German commanders here, so you can personalise your leaders or even put one on each of them for the starter games.
Yep. Well, these are always very useful because you do have a commander in Flames of War, and it's very important to mark out who he is.
Yep.
To save any arguments, stick a tank commander on.
Absolutely.
Right. For paperwork in the thing.
Yeah, so it's quite important. This set is different to Hit the Beach because although you've got the quick start rules in here with the core rules, you've actually got a start here booklet, and this is the one that gets people really into the Flames of War. So obviously you've got your universal diagrams to set everything up, and also it references your cards, your unit cards. You've also got your first game, so using the terrain that we cut in the box as a standard setup to really show you how to use it, in depth on a unit card, and then a couple of extra missions. So once you're getting into it, you've got a few different missions there to play with as well.
Nice. And I do like the fact that at your leisure you can dive into that main rulebook as well.
Yep, so every box set does come with a full rule book as well. That's the softback version, and that just means that you can take this box and expand with it and go with any of our other box sets and really start your journey. You see Flames of War, and it's got the unit cards in there as well for each of the tanks.
You've also got your core rules leaflet here as well, so I assume read the start here, read this.
Yeah, and this folds out into quite a long document here. It's like 4 pages, you see. And again, this is the quick start. You just need to basically read these. That shows you how to play the game. And then if you want the more complex side of it, whether it's infantry, when you start looking into more flank shots and things like that, that's when you go to the main rule book. Use your unit cards then for the armor values on all the tanks as well.
Again, one thing I always love in games is unit cards, because this makes life so much easier than flicking through rule books. Can I get these separately?
Yes, so you will be able to. We've got the Fortress Europe book out this week at the moment with all the new starter sets, and there is some unit cards as well, which hopefully in another video we can have a look through.
Hell yes.
And that will show people how to use their army for their list building. And then every single army book that we will be doing for the D-Day launch, for the next sort of a year or so, we'll be having unit cards in packs. So people want to use tanks they've already got, they can come back into it, or they can just buy the unit cards like me because you want the whole stack of them on the shelf.
All right, well, everybody, that is Fury for Flames of War 4th. Myself and Chris will move on here. Drop your comments below. Tell us, is this the one you would maybe use to bring someone new into the Flames of War hobby? We'll move on. We'll see you again soon.
Visit OnTableTop.com and comment on all 3 days of the Flames of War bootcamp to be in with a chance of winning one of 3 Flames of War bundles.
Hi everybody, we're back from the Flames of War bootcamp and we have an award. Our 2 reenactors have won the finest hour achievement. So that is a moment in your game worthy of a World War II movement. I have John here to give us the blow-by-blow. So John, what happened?
Oh, it's absolute epic move. So at the beginning, we had a little bit of a duel off between a Panzer IV and a Sherman 76, and actually both ended up as casualties. So then a mad rush by the 75 millimeter Sherman into a field of fire that he should have died multiple times. Came round, and then Carl here just went for it straight through a factory and into the building. So he's
they're still on the table, aren't they?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So Ryan, if you want to get in there and have a look on the table, we can see just how this ended. So you've got your Tiger in there, you've got your 2 Shermans.
Yeah. So
We'll come around here so that we can see what Ryan's looking at. Now hang on. I need to bring you the mic.
So what we had is we had the Sherman hiding here, and we had a 76 here. The Tiger was behind the factory, knowing full well that if he comes out, he's going to be into the 76 arc of fire. So what he did is he drove straight through the factory, comes into here, bog check, straight into here to shoot into the side. So now he's sitting inside the building. Strangely, Carl has this ability to roll double ones like nobody I've seen in the business, so shoots straight over the top of the Sherman. So then Nelson just charges straight down with his 76, another bog check. This one rotates the turret to get the 2 fires, knowing that he could not kill the Tiger from the front because armor 9 AT-10, but was going for the lucky bailout shot, hoping that the 76 would do the real damage. Came in there. massive jaw in there, penetrated, and sadly, a 2.
Oh,
So he's there. So now Carl was like, okay, I'm going to shoot again. So does, amazingly, misses again. So now scoots out on there. Double bail check, ended up in the factory. So you're looking at this and going, okay, this is there. Really well done to get himself out of trouble then. So what Nelson then does is literally bosh, 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 comes straight through. So now he's facing into here. This one does the same thing, comes in the side. So now he's looking at doing exactly the same move. But this time, fails here miserably, but then we were expecting that. And this one just nails a tank like that. Brilliant. Absolutely awesome.
fantastic. Worthy of a Hollywood production. And in honour of that, Warren has your prizes. Would you like to tell them what they've won, Warren?
Thank you so much. Look, we thought we'd give you guys a copy of Fury each because you seem to have enjoyed that immensely, and we've enjoyed just watching what you've come up with. And I also want to say just a thank you to the reenactors, because it's there's not a massive group of them here in Northern Ireland, but the role that they play in the education of us and allowing us, to see the dress and material, and then they talk in such detail about the period and the time and everything that's went through. We really do appreciate it, and we appreciate it so much here at OnTableTop whenever you guys come down to our events and boot camps and stuff, and it's a fantastic job you're doing. So look,
congratulations, boys,
and enjoy Fury. So.
Well, everybody, stay tuned for more from the boot camp and more prizes to be given away. We'll move on. We'll see you again soon.
Visit OnTabletop.com and comment on all 3 days of the Flames of War boot camp to be in with a chance of winning one of 3 Flames of War bundles.
Hi everybody, I am back with John from Battlefront, and today we're having a look at another one of the books. John, we have one here that I'm saving for everybody.
Yes.
So we're going to go with Fortress Europe.
Please do.
There's something special coming that you guys are going to want to stay tuned for. But this is the new baby, yes?
It is, yeah. And I think it needs a small explanation of what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Because this army book is outside the norm, as in it has multiple forces in.
Mm-hmm.
It is very much geared to telling the story of the journey of World War II.
Mm-hmm.
So, of course, we have done quite a bit of late war already.
Yes.
So in many ways, we're going back to D-Day.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this is what this book is for, is we've just come out of mid-war,
mm-hmm.
and people have been buying and putting their armies together. Well, there was no real clear line. This is when you stopped using this and you use this.
Mm-hmm.
And we denote late war,
mm-hmm.
and gamers have mid-war, and you have these periods, but of course that's not how the war worked.
Yeah.
So we have to choose a time, and Fortress Europe is definitely the start of the journey of late war.
Mm-hmm.
So what we wanted to do is make sure that the Big Four could all use their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
You're okay.
If, of course, you just did D-Day,
mm-hmm.
well, what are the Russians doing? Sitting here going,
Twiddling thumbs?
just twiddling thumbs?
Yeah.
Everything like that. So what we wanted to do is make sure that everybody got to play with their toy
mm-hmm.
soldiers. So there are sort of 24 types of armies that you can put together with this book.
Mm-hmm.
It takes your mid-war armies and it puts them into late war.
Gotcha.
I've seen a bit on the internet is, Ferdinands. There were no Ferdinands in late war. Rah, 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 and go, yeah, you're actually, in many ways, you're right.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the elephant hasn't come out yet.
Mm-hmm.
But what do we want to do? Take your money for your Ferdinand and now say, you can't use it anymore.
Yeah.
So in here, what we've tried to do is give you the ability to start off
mm-hmm.
with your armies and go there. And as your surprise bit later on,
yeah.
when the armies come out for each nation,
mm-hmm.
we'll then progress the war
yeah.
with their special things.
Mm-hmm.
But this one is very much designed just to help you over
mm-hmm.
and get you going straight away and keep everybody able to play.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the last thing you want to do is turn up to the club and go, no, you're not part of the war right now.
Exactly.
You know, that's not fun. Even at the event we're at right now, I've nabbed one of the faction starter boxes. I've built a 53-point list from it of Russians, and everybody's very happy to play with it because it's just another round of gaming, another way to play. You know, but again, that comes back to the whole balance of the historical accurate gamer versus the historical Hollywood gamer, is the way I'll describe it.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of things in this book that I would love to chat to you about, because it's something I have always been trying to work my way through for Flames War, and it's something that always is a little bit of a hitch for me. So having a little video.
Okay, well, I hope I can answer it.
it's actually incredibly simple and straightforward. My buddy John has tried to explain it a few times. So our John, not your John, you John. Our John. Okay.
Yep.
All right, so let's start flicking through the book, and we'll actually talk about what's in there, and then whenever we hit the point I want to talk about, I'll give you the nod.
Sounds good to me.
All right, so the book itself, we've got some historical pieces here showing where everybody was moving and such, and then we jump straight into the Americans.
Yep.
And a little bit of the history of what they were up to, yeah?
Yep.
And then we come to, okay, so this is how you actually construct an army.
Yes.
So what I would like you to do is, and this will be useful for any new players out there, give me the bare bones of how I actually use this force organization chart.
Right, you are. I will do my very best. So, sorry, got to put the old glasses on, getting old. So, what we've got is these boxes here, which represent what you're buying. So, if you're going with a tank company, you start with this box. You then are allowed to add support. So, when you would go to the tank company, and then you would flick into the pages, and luckily, tank company is the next one. And this now tells you how to start making your core platoons. So you've got your command, and then you've got your platoons, and this one's a mixed choice, so you can have either M4s or M5s. Once you build this up is how you have got your army constructed, and the darker sections are compulsory.
Right, so I must have these before I can take anything in grey.
Yes, absolutely. And you must fill both of them and the command.
I see.
So once you've got that, you've got your core part. Then you can expand them if you want, or you can use, and I'm just going to quickly flip back, support. So you might just want to go 1, 2, 3 choices of that and air. I wouldn't advise it, but that is your choice.
It's one of those things that was always that little bit of a hitch for me. So having someone explain it and have someone to explain it on camera where people can just very quickly signpost their friends to go, here, this is how it works, calm down, is quite handy. Because last night, Chris was actually building up my Russian force for me, and he was quickly flicking back through the book, and I was like, what's going on? What's happening?
Yeah. And that again happens. It's one of those things I always put in as assumed knowledge, is you assume that everybody knows as much as you do, and that's not always the case.
Exactly. Now, you've also got on here some of the key actual traits that you're going to see on your stat cards.
Yes.
And a little bit on why you might want to play Americans, what the force style is, and what the tanks are good at, and what the artillery is good at, which is nice to have. And then rolling through, so I assume this is just bringing all stat cards up to date for the new edition.
And points cost as well. Because, of course, some things that were in mid-war would be very, very expensive because they were in mid-war. But then they become almost a bit more of the norm as you went on. And then the super tanks would come in, and they become the super heavies, and that's how it rolls. You know, so if the war had carried on for another 10 years, let's say, maybe King Tiger 2s would have just become the normal standard tank, and then something horrendous would be, I mean, isn't it the Rate tank or something like that?
Well, yeah, the Mouse, which they made a few prototypes of, and the Rat was actually only ever, I think, a rough
pencil drawing.
Ridiculous. I think it was like on a cocktail napkin or something.
Absolutely, as it should be.
Oh no, the insanity of the idea of sticking naval artillery onto a land vehicle. Nope, that's just no craziness. No, like I've seen videos of the one that they have in the Russian tank museum.
I've been there.
You've been beside this thing?
I have been there, yes. If anybody gets the chance to go, it is well worth it. The funniest thing, is a quick plug for it, is they don't actually know what they've got for a tourist attraction. So they are all in aircraft hangars. And the funniest thing is I walked into the German one looking for the mouse tank. That is why I was coming. and it's not there.
Really?
Because you can't see it because it's hidden behind a Karl mortar.
Oh, right.
And of course, it is another one of those is I'd gone to see almost a unique and was so disappointed that I was only looking at a Karl mortar. And I walked down and then suddenly a little barrel appears as I walk past a Sturmtiger.
Yeah.
And the tanks that are there is just amazing. I suppose the only other collection I would put it close to that I've been to is Bovington.
I actually have never been to Bovington either. I keep meaning to go with John. We talk about it every year. And I mean, like, I would love to go to something like Tiger Day.
Yes.
Just to see.
Yes,
the
I would too.
running.
I've never done Tiger Day, but I plan to. I'm moving back to the UK in a week.
Nice.
And that is on my to-do list.
Nice. Well, I'll tell you what, if you ever want to do like a
I'll
paired
give you a
up
shout.
team
That will be awesome.
We'll bring OT, we'll bring Battlefront, we'll have beers, it'll be a great time.
That will be a good, that's definitely a date.
All right, so this is also doing us for our vehicles, our artillery, our infantry, anything for the air power in here as well?
Yes, absolutely. Air's in there as well.
Nice. And then, so this is all the American stuff. We've got some artillery here, and then we go to the Germans. Germans in
and here's
late
the air
war.
we were talking about.
Ah, yes. But Germans in late war.
Yes.
They start to get some of the big toys.
Yes, the big cats. Yeah.
So you've got tigers, you've got panthers, you've got king tiger.
Yeah.
Any others you want to give a shout out to?
At the moment, I would think is the Jagdpanther is one of my favourites. They're obviously it's got the Ferdinand. Will transition into the elephant later. But yes, all the known culprits will be covered. The Nashorns, the Hummels, etc., etc.
Yeah, and German big armor is very scary. You really need to get onto the flanks to actually start dealing with it. It's one thing I've always noticed. German tanks in games are always just that bit tougher than everything else, but you have less of them. So there's a nice balance to the tactics of your games.
Well, it's one of the things that is always mentioned is, even though I don't like calling it there, but it's called codex creep. Of course, sadly for our game, codex creep is absolutely real. Because nobody in World War II was designing tanks going, you know what, I'll make a tank that's not quite as good as the ones that are out there already.
Yeah, or I'll make a tank that's just as good as that one and no more.
Exactly. What they were always looking for was the advantage. Well, when that comes out, the other side hasn't got time yet to react, so there is always that cat and mouse bit.
Yeah, it's what I call the miniatures arms race.
Yes.
Because it happens in every single game. So I've started with my starter box. I've had my first games. All of a sudden, my mate has went out and got an extra unit of 88s, and holy crap, I need something to deal with this.
Yes.
You know, so you even have that among the player base.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
So, German stuff. I'm assuming this is definitely one of the first stop-offs you would say for someone to actually jump into the game after they've got their starter sets.
I think so, especially if you're a new player. Absolutely. It gets you going and it's there. For existing older gamers, it is the stepping stone until your books come along.
Yeah, there's one nice thing this book does as well for a new gamer. It allows you to familiarize yourself with your opponent.
Yes.
Because sometimes whenever you're just starting out, you know what your stuff does, you have no idea what your opponent does.
Yeah.
So having that bit of information gives you a little bit of an edge to actually just keep pace with each other a lot better.
Yeah, and bring you into the robustness of the hobby as a whole, is being able to see Russians there. You never know what your next tank might be, next army might be. You might want to go infantry of the same nation, or you might want to pop over and go, oh, I'm going to go Russian now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like it's nice to have all that information, and you've got the way you guys lay your books out is beautiful. I will say that they are just a pleasure to look at. And that's always a bonus to
I
these
think the guys in New Zealand do a really, really good job. And, you know, we always moan at them for more, faster, quicker, but they do some beautiful work.
Yeah, and then we're into the Russians, who are my favorites. Now, each nation kind of has its own feel and flavor within the current edition.
Yeah.
What would you say, describe to me very quickly each of the big four for what's special?
Yeah, I can. I would say you've already hit on with Germans. They are relying on very good firepower and very good armor.
Yeah, they've got some good movement abilities.
Absolutely. Russian still has horde mentality, but in here we have a T-34 hero army, which puts them much more into comparable to Brits, Americans, and Germans on rating and that sort of stuff. So it changes them. But there is something about you can still run your 21 or 31 T-34 Tiger Army, T-34 Army. And there is something scary about not having the firepower capable to push that off.
Yeah, well, it's the idea of, you're going to kill some of us.
Yes.
The rest of us are going to make it to where we can actually hurt you.
Yeah. And in many ways, I would say, I think the idea of the British Army having that sort of true grit, we are just going to fight our way through, is still in there. And actually, the Americans, a bit more technological bit is so gyro stabilizers and this sort of thing. So moving and shooting effectively on the move. Just with the demo game that I just ran out there, that would have changed everything if the players had not had to stop to get full rate of fire. Because again, when you're rolling a couple more dice, there's always that chance that you get the 6 that you need.
If I can roll an extra dice rather than get a +1 on something, I'll take the extra dice every day of the week, even if I'm on like a 6+.
Yep. Yeah. No, is with the 17% chance, that is definitely one of those calculations that many players will do.
Oh yeah. Now, there's one other thing in this book which I think is very clever on your part, and it's right at the back here. If I remember correctly, one thing you guys have also done, so you've got a basing guide, very useful little pieces of hobby stuff, but then you actually do a catalogue.
Yes.
And it's a very light, it's right at the back of the book, so it's not in your way. But if you're just sitting having a flick through thinking, what do I want to explore next? What do I want to grab next? What would be fun? What actually comes in that Soviet force that I've been thinking of grabbing for my brother for his birthday or my sister for her birthday? So it's nice just to have that little bit of an Argos catalogue feel, just at the very end.
And I think, again, we have to always, I think everybody knows, we are a commercial company as well. But having the products that are there to enable you an easy movement forward in the hobby, I think is essential for it. And I think actually that was Pete's idea, is why are we not putting in something that helps people with their hobby purchases in the correct manner? Because far too many times you will have chats with people where they've gone, I bought this, but actually it doesn't fit. And go, yes, and normally done out of, well, maybe they didn't read enough at the beginning or an unclear message.
Yeah. Well, it's one thing I used to notice, even just to have the image in front of you to remind you that there is more out there is good. I mean, like I used to read novel series, and every time I opened the novel series, there would be a couple of pages front and back just showing the next ones in the book series I was reading, or just other ones by that author. So having that is absolutely fine by me, and I love the idea of it.
Cool. Well, thank you.
Right, John, thank you very much. That is Fortress Europe, everybody. If you are moving from mid-war to late war, this is going to be the one for you. If you're a new player, this is going to be a great one to give you all the information you need to actually keep up pace and know what your opponents are doing and what to stay away from on the tabletop.
Very true.
Let's have John move on here. We'll see you again soon.
Visit OnTableTop.com and comment on all 3 days of the Flames of War bootcamp to be in with a chance of winning one of 3 Flames of War bundles.
Right, folks, we're back at the boot camp and we've got a winner for another one of the spot prizes, and it's Alex here with a spectacular overkill. I think it was finest hour, but I've been shouted down on this one. So you managed to take out 4 Shermans in one turn.
4 Shermans, 1 turn, 4 shots.
So just down the line, boom, 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 which is fairly incredible, getting 100% kill rate.
Yeah, it was, we had the
7.5.
Exactly, just dug in the tree line and they just shot down, each one went.
Which is obviously gutting for you, Dave, I imagine, in many respects, losing so many of your tanks so quickly. But I also noticed you'd lost the front tank, and some of your tanks over here aren't looking particularly great either.
Bailed, two tanks bailed on the first turn. Tried to remount on the second turn, and I had to make a motivation test for my commander, and he buggered off.
So that all looked fairly terrible right off the bat. So we've lost nearly all the tanks. I think definitely an overkill and definitely a spot prize. So we've got our lovely brand tub. If you want to put your hand in here. Yep. And you have won a...
8 ball, fantastic.
It's oddball from Kelly's Heroes as a tournament objective. Now, I shouldn't be doing this, but since everybody's gone away not paying attention to me, just after this, Dave then tore out into a unit of Panzer Grenadiers that had attacked and been mullered by defensive fire, leaving this little Shrek team. And in payback, he let into it with every single member of his parachute platoon, which I think is a second overkill. And while nobody's looking at me, dippy dip dip. And what did you win?
Tiger.
It's not just any Tiger, it's a Kelly's Heroes Hollywood Tiger built on the chassis of a completely different tank. Kelly's Heroes versus Kelly's Heroes. That's hilarious in many respects. They're not all Kelly's Heroes in here, folks. Okay, we're going to go away now before I give every other prize out to people at these tables. Take care, and we'll speak to you again soon.
Visit OnTableTop.com and comment on all 3 days of the Flames of War Bootcamp to be in with a chance of winning one of 3 Flames of War bundles.
Hi everybody, we are back at the Flames of War Bootcamp, and this time it's time for another kit chat. I'm here with Laura. We're doing some American stuff. Now, Laura, what is your impression?
My impression is the dress uniform of the Army Nurse Corps during World War II.
Okay, now you've actually brought along some of the kit that you would have carried as a nurse. So would you like to maybe give us a little bit of a guide? So if you come around this side for me, just so I can get the mic to you, and you can point out what we're seeing on the little table here.
Right, the majority of stuff, this would all have been in field hospitals, which is where the nurses would have been. The likes of this here, your soldier would have arrived with this tied to his shirt. It would have his service number, name, any injuries, anything that's happened to him, treatment he's had, so that the nurses know whenever they get there what has happened to them, what has been done. Obviously, your medics would have wore the cross on their arms to distinguish them from anybody else out in the field. And here you have your general plaster of Paris. Carlisle kit, every soldier carried a Carlisle kit this here, and that was for use out in the field.
What came in it?
What came in it was a tourniquet, a bandage, proper dressing. You had wound powder as well, that you would have opened the packet, scattered on the wound to stop infections, as well as that, a syringe of morphine.
Yes.
And how you would have known that, as a nurse, that a soldier had morphine is they would either have used the needle and attached it to the lapel of their kit, or, a bit gruesome, they would have dipped their finger into the wound and put an M on their forehead. Mm-hmm. So that's how you would have known.
I see. Now, how much of this is original? Because I don't want to be touching stuff and breaking stuff on you, because I know some of that original stuff, you pay a fair amount for it, but it's worth it to have those touchstones.
Yep. Cough drops are original, sewing kit's original. This here is all original, so is this, and the syringe. Everything else is reproduction. The morphine syringe, obviously, is going to be reproduction. But other than that, everything's all real.
Now, I was talking to you off camera. You're saying this is a canister of plaster of Paris. So how did that function?
The plaster of Paris, what you would have done, if you see the tin, you would have had the key at the bottom, and you opened it like you do the tins of Spam, filled it with water. That would have given you your plaster of Paris bandage that you wouldn't have to dip it in, put it on.
Right, so basically everything is designed to be sort of self-contained, self-sufficient, to do the job that needs to be done to basically treat and triage a soldier as quickly as possible on the battlefield.
As quickly as possible, get them healthy, get them back out.
Well, Laura, thank you very much. I will let you take this away, and I will bring in Mr. Lyons. So Coco, if you move this way for me, I will bring in John, who is rolling out in his 82nd Airborne gear, looking like you're carrying quite a bit of weight there, John.
Well, not as much as they would have completely carried. I mean, we could run through the kit list of that, and that's ridiculous in itself. So,
well, if you've watched Band of Brothers, you see them on the runway and how much kit they're carrying.
Yeah, plus their chute, their reserve chute, their life preserver, and all that sort of stuff. It was crazy. So what I'm wearing is basically the gear they would have had after they hit the ground and got the parachute off. This is how they would have ran into battle. There's a couple of bits missing, like extra bandoliers for ammunition for the M1 rifle. But standard paratrooper outfit, so starting at the bottom, we have the Corcoran boots. These are not reproductions, these are made by Corcoran today. So they're the modern boot made to the World War II style by the original company that made them.
That's interesting. Okay, I'm guessing those are a fair penny.
Yeah, they're a bit. Other basic clothing is an M42 jumpsuit, so the trousers with a bit of reinforcement on the knee area. Then up onto the M42 jacket, we have extra pockets. You've got more reinforcement here. The markings are quite simple: American flag on the right and 82nd Airborne All-American symbol on the left. We're then onto our webbing.
Yes.
So this is a standard rifleman's outfit. So this is the Garand belt, which would carry all the 8-round clips for the M1 rifle. As Laura just mentioned, Carlisle tin in a pouch on the belt. On the other side, water canteen with cup inside. And also a entrenching tool. This one is the T-handle shovel. Some people had I think just after Normandy, they started to issue the folding shovel, which is slightly different. On up, we have the helmet. So this is the standard American infantry helmet, the M1 helmet, modified for paratrooper use. So instead of having just this little strap and a canvas one on the back for your chin, you have this little A-frame made out of canvas and a leather chin strap.
That looks like it's pretty tight when it goes on the chin.
It's very tight because you're meant to wear this when you jump out of a plane. So you're jumping out into the backwash and the speed of the airplane traveling through, so this was not allowed to move. Apart from that, the only other thing we have is the M1 rifle.
Yeah, now, this for me is the quintessential American weapon for the war. I know people love the Tommy gun, but this is what most guys were armed with, and the fact that it was a semi-automatic rifle had to give them an advantage.
It was one of the first semi-automatic rifles used in by the Western powers. Became very popular. I think in some cases it was still in service up around Korea, Vietnam. They fitted sniper scopes to them and stuff later on. So it was an
original or reproduction?
This is actually a replica. This is a safe for work replica. So it doesn't carry any ammunition or anything like that. But 8-round repeating rifle, so you can fire this thing as fast as you can pull the trigger. That's the whole idea behind it, was that the American doctrine for the infantry was it doesn't matter if you're accurate with your fire, it matters more if you're putting a weight of fire down. So they always talk about supremacy of firepower, or superior firepower as we know it now. So you have a platoon of these guys, 50, 60 rifles of these, all pumping out 8 rounds as fast as the guys can pull the trigger. That's a lot of a weight of fire down.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I mean, it's great to see you doing this because, as you said, the 82nd, they were based here in the north during the war. Last thing that you haven't mentioned is on your back, you're actually carrying a musette pack. So what all would have went into this, John?
Typically you would have had like extra socks, or maybe a raincoat if you were lucky, your rations, bits and bobs like that. So when they jumped on D-Day, the musette pack was basically stuffed with as much kit as they could get in. So potentially extra ammunition if they wanted to carry that. More importantly, 24-hour ration pack. So you had 3 little boxes, K-ration boxes that were your breakfast, lunch and dinner. If you needed more, then you had to make room for it.
Well, this is the thing they had to consider, because the airborne, once they're in, they have no support until they meet up with their own lines again.
Yeah, you had 0 chance of supply once you hit the ground, so you had to land ready to fight, and you had to be prepared to fight longer than you'd planned to. And in a lot of cases, the airborne forces were really sort of hanging out on a limb for at least the first 48 hours, some cases 72 hours, particularly around St. Mary Glees and stuff. When the airborne dropped in, they went, "We've just dropped on a German garrison, good luck with that," sort of thing. But yeah, that's the basics of it. There's tons more kit they would have carried into combat as well. So this is like the bare bones basic combat load.
All right, now we have one more thing to show you in this video, and it's something a little bit special that Lewis has brought along. This has a bit of story and a bit of history to it, so moment of silence and respect for this particular piece of history that he's holding in his hand. What do you got for us?
What we're looking at here is a Browning automatic rifle. Now, you wouldn't have seen this as much with the 82nd Airborne. You do see a couple of pictures of it, but it wasn't as widely fielded, mainly because of its weight. If you're parachuting with stuff, the M1 was heavy enough as it was. Sometimes the BAR was a little excessive. You do see these on the beach, much used with the American infantry, the likes of the Army Rangers. So this would have been Omaha, Utah territory. Admittedly, I only knew a little bit about it because American isn't my jam. But there you go. Though it's fed. I can give you a little bit of a rundown on it. It's fed from a 20-round detachable box magazine, as you can see there. So these are actually I mean, you can feel the weight of that. It's not very...
There's a wee bit of weight to it, not too bad.
Not too much. So that's a 20 round box mag. It's fire select system. It's actually quite odd. So if you see here, you've got S, A, and F. And there's a little button behind S. So this was part of the US military's build-up during World War, actually just during World War I, whenever they were coming into the war. They wanted to, I can't remember the exact word for it. Jim Riskin will probably pick it up and post in the comments there, but it's something like advancing fire doctrine. So they'd seen how devastating the machine guns the Germans were using were during the First World War. So what they decided to do was put the machine gun in the hands of one man and essentially turn him into a one-man army. So they designed Browning designed the BAR, the Browning Automatic Rifle. He also designed a custom webbing setup so that whenever the individual was walking, because of the way that it was going to work, the squad would advance. This would be, they maybe have one guy in the squad with one of these, and what he'd do is, it's got sights, but the whole doctrine was he was to put it in against, there was like a little metal clasp on his belt, he'd put it in against his belt and he'd walk like that on fully automatic. Now, coming back to the safety, as you can see there's like a button under the safe, so you went from safe to auto, and then from auto all the way forward. So there were two different rates of fire. Now the further forwardmost selector, F, was like a machine gun, but whenever you put it to the first setting, it chugged like a brain gun, so it was very whenever you were shooting it. And the thinking behind it was the operator would have to make sure that everybody was dead around him before he wanted to take it off safe, because he would be drawing the most fire. So there's a button, so whenever you fired this all off, you made sure everybody was dead. To put it on safe again, you had to depress this button. So depress that button in, push that down, you're on safe, so now it won't shoot. This one in particular, now, you do see pictures of the BAR with a bipod on it, but a lot of photographs, the majority actually of them, don't have the bipod. Now, I got asked this yesterday, so this BAR is quite special because not only is it a complete matching parts kit, which means the bipod matches, the barrel matches, the hand grips match, the magazine matches, which is very hard to do with weapons nowadays because pieces got damaged, or they had to swap the pieces out because they got worn down.
Yeah, or even after the war, someone's maybe pieced one together to get a complete set.
Yeah, and they broke it. This one's quite special because it's a complete matching parts kit, but wasn't manufactured for World War II.
Oh!
This BAR is 101 years old.
What?
Yeah, it's 101 years old. It was part of the original run of BARs. It was made by Browning for the United States military during the First World War, which they then sacked because the war ended and they didn't need it anymore.
Still, to have a piece of history like that, my God.
I don't know if the cameraman can see it.
If we maybe try and hold it under a light.
But if you see round about there,
I'll try and get a good picture of this for you folks.
It says 1918, and that's its manufacture date. And there's its serial number, and we were able to track the serial number back from the US or the US armories in the States. So this is all matching 110 or 101 years old World War II veteran. And it's in really good nick as well because it's an old spec, which means if you can see under the handguard, so your operating rod that goes up there for your gas parts, if I rack the weapon, you can see it moving, and you can also see the bolt works. So then you put that through, you ram that forward again like a machine gun. Whenever I pull the trigger, but take it off safe, it all works.
Wow.
It's a lovely piece, and we've our club's had that for about 2, maybe 3 years, and we've only started bringing it out. But I have, as a reenactor, it's very hard to see the likes of a BAR, like an original BAR, because they're so rare, and most of them in the United States. But to see an original 101, like the original BAR, it's almost impossible.
Dude, that's incredible. That is such a special piece to actually have brought. Thank you very much.
Absolutely, no problem. Yeah, I thought the boot campers would get a kick out of it because I thought, it's First and Second World War. So There you go. That's why you should buy boot camp tickets.
Well, everybody, thank you to the reenactors once again for coming along. They have done a fabulous job for us. Thank you, Lewis, for bringing in such a gem of a piece of history. Get your comments in below, folks. We'll move on, and we'll see you again very soon.
Visit OnTableTop.com and comment on all 3 days of the Flames of War Bootcamp to be in with a chance of winning one of 3 Flames of War bundles.
Hi guys, I'm back with Chris, and now this is the BBC, and we're going to be talking about the British forces in Flames of War.
You can't do that. That's just literally like told me.
What?
I'm going to be laughing for the whole video now. Brilliant. Oh, right. No more accents.
Oh, come on. I can't be posh once. You just want the rough Irish tones, you know? Is that what you like?
Absolutely. That's why I came over.
Okay, guys. So this is your jumping off point for the British if you want to dive in heavily into the new Flames of War 4th edition. You get a ton in this one. This is a very, very thick box. So, as you can see, you're getting a mess of Shermans, Churchills, Stuarts, and infantry. And some Bren gun carriers, which is one of the most beautiful little vehicles.
It
John actually had
is.
one of these as well.
Yeah.
Actually, no, they still have one.
Excellent.
They have
We'll to go
a
for
Windsor
drama.
carrier. Well, yeah, if we get the chance, we have to get you out.
Yeah, we're gonna, yeah.
Okay, so in the box, we get 4 Sherman 75s, 1 Sherman Firefly. This tank is one of my favorite stories in history.
Yes.
Because whenever they were developing it, they acquired one. They weren't issued one, they acquired one.
It just fell off the back of the boat, did it?
Pretty much. And it was the whole thing of, okay, so how do we put a 17-pounder in this? Well, turn it on its side. Okay, it's the recoil's too long. What do we do? It's smashing the radio. Cut a hole in the back and put a box on. It was just like, okay.
But it works. That's it, you know.
Yeah, whenever you... it's a beautiful monster. You know, it's a bit of a Frankenstein.
Yeah.
But that's why I think I love it. I mean, like, I love some of the crazy stuff the engineers and stuff did during World War II.
Yeah.
You know, they did the rocket-assisted parachutes and things.
Yeah, just it's almost a license to make some really cool stuff.
Yeah, the boffins in World War II, you guys were creative.
We like you.
Okay, so we also get 3 Churchills, really nice tank.
Yep.
We get the Bren gun carriers. We get some 25-pounders, which are great to have. We got some Stuarts, some M10s, and your infantry.
Yep.
So this one, you're getting a lot.
Yeah, once again, you're struggling to get that in. I mean...
Let me show you. Look at how much plastic there is in this box. All yours, Chris. I'll let you do the heavy lifting on this one.
I will do my best not to just tip it out again this time.
I don't know, it kind of looks good whenever it's just this big waterfall of plastic.
It is. I mean, look at that. That's it's just so much in here again.
Now there's an interesting thing. Okay. For the British, you have actually changed the colour of the base plastic.
We have for the majority of them, yeah. So this is like the light green now, as opposed to the Soviets was like a dark green, and it's an olive green for the Americans.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can easily tell the difference. Yeah. Although the sprues are very similar in what they are, it means that you don't have to paint them up straight away. You can stick them together and start again.
Exactly. If it's that first step in and you don't want to even prime them, you can just start playing with them and start getting a feel for the hobby.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right, mountain of stuff.
Yeah.
Where to start? So I believe this is the Achilles sprue?
This is the Achilles sprue, which is the same sprue as the American M10. But obviously, as we've spoken about before, when you go through it, you'll see there's the different options for the different guns.
Yeah, so we've got tracks, the breeches, the mantlets, tops of turrets, bit of stowage, bottom of a turret, more stowage, just a few components here. And then on the other bit here, we've got lower hull, upper hull, back of the hull, lower back of the hull, stowage, 2 pegs for the turret. You've got a couple of 50 cals. Keep saying it, I love the fact that we have these. Main guns, the anti-ditching components, and more components of your turret.
Certainly is. And I'd say this sprue actually does make 3. It makes the M10, the M36, and the British Achilles. So it's got the 17-pounder option on there as well, which is the one that you're going to be wanting for the British. This thing is one of the best anti-tank guns in the game.
Yeah. Ooh, your Sherman sprue is different.
This is slightly different. So the British, and there's bits flying off it. That's how amazing this one is.
Well, it's how finely you've actually cast your gates, which is something I quite like. I like it whenever the gates are really finely cast on something, because then when you clip it, you have less cleaning to do.
Yes, and it's easier to get in the game.
Yes.
So this is the British Sherman sprue, which is a Sherman V or Sherman 5.
Yes.
And what you've got on here as you go through it will be just slightly different components. Plus, we've got the Firefly options on here as well, of course.
All right, so we've got lower hull, upper hull, hatch. I believe that's part of a gun mantlet. Yep. We've got turret peg. We've got all your guns here, some 50 cals and your 75 and 76 here. You've got your 2 turret options, so you can see that Firefly one.
Yep.
Cut a hole in the back, put the radio in that. You've got your transmission, a cupola. You've got more gun mantlets here, some stowage here, so if I flip this over, gun mantlets here, gun cleaning kit here. You've then got spare wheel, some more stowage beds, tow hook, 2 different front plates, which is quite nice. Now, are they different between the 75 Firefly?
I'm not sure, actually. I thought that was just to up armour your Shermans, so it's essentially to put that extra bit of armour on the front of the Sherman.
Well, no, because the front design of this is blank.
Yes, that'll go over the top of it. So
yeah, so you've got 2 options here. I'm trying to see if there's anything different.
It's different on the back with the locating lug, but to be honest with you, I'm not sure about that one. I might have to find that out for you. I mean, there is a slight difference. Maybe it's the machine gun. Maybe there's not a machine gun on the Firefly.
Yes, no machine gun here. There's your difference. See, that minor detail I like.
Just even I didn't know.
Yep, and then you've got your spare track here, and yeah. This is actually the same hull variant, I believe, that John and his dad were restoring years ago.
Yep.
Just beautiful machines.
It is, and this is the one that's got the extra armor plates on the side as well. It's just slightly thicker, which you can see with the squares compared to the American Sherman, so to speak, that they used exclusively.
Yeah. Well, I actually have a story for a Sherman as well, if you want that.
Oh, we love Shermans. Go on.
All right. So John's dad, when he was restoring it, actually had a spare engine, and when they were filming Band of Brothers, basically one of them broke down. Now, he was friends with the guy that owned it, so the fella bought this engine off him, and Kenny, John's dad, went out to fit it. And it turns out, I think it had like an extra 200 horsepower in it. So the guy wasn't used to it, so whenever he started it up when the engine was refitted, he went, "Kenny, what the hell did you do to me tank? It's got a fair lift to it now."
And it went when you put your foot down. Excellent.
She just sat up on her hindquarters and just went.
Oh, brilliant. Wheeling tanks. Love it.
No, it's what I love about the one John and his dad did restore, because they put an engine pack in it that was too big.
Yep.
And so it's literally just got a straight through exhaust, so it is the angriest sounding Sherman on the planet. All right, so this, I believe, is our Stuart.
It is. This is for the M5 Stuart. Yep.
Yep. So we've got lower hull, upper hull, gun mantlet, side skirts, a couple of different fronts. We've got some stuff that can go around the turret. We've got the main gun here. We've got a side of the turret with a 30 cal on there. We've got the back. We've got another bit of the turret. We've got bigger turret here. We've got another side with a gun on it. We've got a lower bit of the turret, and we've got our tracks here. They're just cute as sin.
They are. They are.
This makes the M3 and the M5, if I remember.
It's the M5 and the M8 on this one.
I see.
So there is options for later on in the war when we're a little bit more updated. And again, it does say there's a little ID badge on there, which will tell you as well. So
that's a handy thing.
Majority of our newer kits do have that just give you the heads up about what it is, especially when you've got this much plastic in the box.
Yeah, that's excellent. I can look less stupid on camera. All right.
Not at all.
All right, so Churchill infantry tank.
Yes.
This is something the Brits did that I was very unsure of. It's the tank doctrine evolving through time.
Yep.
Having infantry support tanks and the main line of the attacking tank. It was weird. I mean, like, whenever they had the Matildas, they actually had the 2-pounder gun in it. Could take high X. They just were never issued them.
Yeah.
Or was it a different? I think actually it may have been a different gun. Check with John.
Yeah,
John
ask him.
But the Churchill itself is one of the last monstrously big, long tanks. So we've got our upper hull, lower hull, our tracks. We've got the front components here. One thing I always hate about these, see this here? Just this little corner? That's a shell trap right there. Or if it's just tin work, it'll maybe punch through into your drive wheels and stuff. Not a design I'm a fan of. We've got gun here. We've got cupolas open and closed. We've got some stowage, some spare track. And then we come to the trailer, because you can actually make a crocodile out of this.
You certainly can. So this is essentially a late war Churchill sprue.
Yes. We've got our gun mantlet. We've got the tires for your trailer, which would have held your fuel tank. There would have been a hose running up and around to it.
Yep.
We then have a couple of hatches, the front of the main hull gun, and what are you? I don't know.
I think that is for the AVRE, the Royal Engineers version. So they're basically, let's get a mortar, put it into a tank, and blow up the pillboxes. Let's not just blow them up. Let's blow them up. It's overkill, but it works.
Yeah, it's kind of like the German Sturmtiger.
Yeah.
Which essentially fired a dustbin.
Essentially, yeah, let's just put one in and just watch everything else
You
explode.
see that building in that general direction? It mildly offended me. I want it gone.
Raise it to the ground.
Yeah, we
absolutely.
also, of course, get our Start Here pamphlet for the British, which is giving you all of your instructions. So
there you go.
I'll quickly just show that off, just so we're complete. Love the artwork on this. So in here we have all of our instructions on the different variants that you're going to be able to build. We've then got your new army page, and we've then got your what's next page, so you can move along from this box once you're done. You also get, if I reach it, your core rule pamphlet, your core rule book, your stat cards, and all of your British markings. British markings are a little bit strange.
They are, yeah. There's quite a few options for different ones in there.
And I think I forgot there is infantry and more.
Yes, there is. There's even more. I was going to say, we're missing half the set here. So these are your universal carriers.
Yes.
So
these are fabulous because you can essentially use them as like a little mobile pillbox.
Yep. So you can put an anti-tank gun in it.
Mm-hmm. So we've got our tracks. We've got our Bren gun itself. We've got, I believe that's the engine inside. We've then got what looks to be a fuel tank, main body here. Or sorry, no, that's actually something else. Oh, that's the back of it.
Yep.
Silly Justin. We've got the main body here. We've got another Bren gun here. We've got a couple of armor plates here. And this looks like a fuel tank. And then you can put a Maxim on here?
So essentially what you've got on there, you've got the Bren gun itself, and then you can also have, that's actually for the Wasp, which is a flamethrower version. So that big fuel tank just sits on the back, and then you get a nice hose down to the front, and then they've just essentially got a massive flamethrower. And all they do is they go up close again to a pillbox, and they just let rip.
Hose it.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
It stops the engineers getting killed on the way.
Exactly.
Yeah. So again, it's another really versatile kit. You've also got your 25-pounder artillery here as well.
These used to terrify me when John was using them because they hit hard.
Oh, they do. Yes, absolutely.
So we've got the main gun carriage that it was set on for actually adjusting its left and right traverse.
Yep.
We've got the wheels for it here, the main gun carriage here. We've got ammo here, so you're actually getting one of the ammo trailers with it.
Yep.
Main gun here, different type of gun here. More wheels, because I assume you have a couple of variants. Another gun here. I think this is some sighting stuff and possibly another gun.
Yep. And then you got your gun shield as well, just to protect your men. Yep.
Of course. My voice is starting to go.
Right, I'll make this quick for you then. So that's your metal crew for your artillery pieces.
I see.
So these are obviously cast out, ready to go for it, and that's everybody that you need for your 25-pounder crew. There's a few different sort of options of how people are stood, and there's a few commanders pointing. We've got a couple of guys to sit on the back of it, and there's also loaders and things like that. So it's nice, just a bit of variance in the kits.
Yeah. See, for these in particular, I always do them like a mini diorama.
Yes.
You want to see action happening with it, not just guys randomly standing
Absolutely,
around picking their nose.
you know, you got the large bases there are just ripe for putting something on. Definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. We then get our British infantry.
You do. So these are your British infantry to get a couple of rifle platoons up on and going on the table.
Yeah. Now, we have our rifleman.
Yep.
We have a man throwing a grenade. I believe he's carrying another rifle. We've got one guy with what looks to possibly be a Sten gun. And then we've got a guy, a Piat.
Yep,
Nice.
so you've got a plastic Piat on this kit. I think there's actually two. There's a guy carrying one as well.
Yeah, we've then got a guy with the Bren gun. Again, this was another odd weapon from the war. It was a support weapon with not really a high amount of ammo in the box.
I think it was 30 odd rounds, wasn't it? 35, maybe something like that.
If I remember right, for the British, they actually split up the ammo for the Bren amongst the rest of the squad, so they all had to carry a bit of the ammo for it, which was quite strange.
But I do want to fire a Bren gun. I just want to sit there and like just go for it, you know.
Yeah. They are nice. Again, it's one of those things. If you ever get stateside, there are some gun ranges that just carry them.
Yeah.
And you just drop $100, pick what you want, and go. I don't know how many shots $100 would get you. You can tell me in the comments below because I have no idea how much a gun range costs.
I'm convincing the wife to let me go over them. Let's hope she's not watching.
If you guys are turning up to Gen Con or Historicon.
Well, I'll have to make it a trip now. Then we'll have to go out together because you're at Historicon, I think.
Oh we're going to Historicon.
Yeah.
You know, if I tell you what, if we find a gun range, we'll do some filming on that.
Absolutely. I'll convince the boss to go.
Oh, I'd love to see JP doing that. All right, everybody, that is the British starter set for Flames of War 4th. Drop your comments down below. Tell us, what would you add to this force? What do you think of what you're getting for flexibility-wise in this force if you're a veteran player? Myself and Chris will move on. We will see you again very soon.
Visit OnTableTop.com and comment on all 3 days of the Flames of War bootcamp to be in with a chance of winning one of 3 Flames of War bundles.
Okay, guys, we are back at the Flames of War bootcamp. I stopped off with Chris because we have something of a mega game going on. What's going on, Chris?
Okay, so we've got a 4-player battle royale here, which I had to kind of tell the guys, no, you can't just keep attacking each other, so we've teamed them up a little bit here.
Okay.
Allies versus Axis. And Michael here wanted to put his British on that he's just bought. So he's bought himself the British Army deal, stuck them together super quick time, and is currently facing off against some Germans.
Okay, so what are we seeing on the field here for the British?
Okay, so what we've got is the British Sherman V or 5 tank with a Firefly attachment on there as a support. We're hoping the 17-pounder on that Firefly is going to do some damage to the Tigers that it's facing across the board over there.
Oh yeah, I'm seeing 2 Tigers.
Yeah. So Jan over there has put together some Tigers himself for his German army, and we're just testing them out, getting some different rules going on in it. We've also got some British infantry armed with Pyattes, which are some personal anti-tank weapons, and we're just hoping there's going to be a lot of stuff dying. That's what we don't want to happen here on this table today.
Fantastic. Okay, Michael, very quick question. Have you had a chance to play much on the tables today, or is this your first game?
First go on the tables today, and I think I was the first person to get British on the table as well.
Is that an award?
I think that might be a spot prize somewhere. We might have to get Jerry on that one.
All right, well, no, hang on. Let's do it now. Grab this.
Okay, you go and get him. Go and get him.
Waffle. Let me out, Johnny.
Just waffle. Yeah.
Well, also I thought, sort of, we can't have D-Day without the British represented, and as much fun as it is to have the Yanks and all that, but there we go.
Absolutely, and obviously the British will be coming out in February with their own dedicated book, but for now we're using the Fortress Europe book, so you've got your unit cards there, I think, have you?
Absolutely, and it really does help because not having to look through various books to look up stats, just having these handy things, special rules on the back, just makes it so much clearer and easier, particularly when I'm coming back to Flames of War, which was actually really, I think, my first love of military wargaming, and I first heard about it on NAM Week years ago with Beasts of War. Oh wow!
So, Michael, I want you to close your eyes, reach into the box, and pull out yourself something nice.
Ooh.
What'd you get?
What we got?
Oh wow! Yeah, it's the oddball Sherman.
Oddball Sherman. So that's perfect for your British then. Yep.
All right, well, guys, we're going to push on here at the Flames of War bootcamp. Hopefully you're enjoying the content. Don't forget we have some amazing prizes up for grabs. We'll move on. We'll see you again soon.
Visit OnTableTop.com and comment on all 3 days of the Flames of War bootcamp to be in with a chance of winning one of 3 Flames of War bundles.
Okay, folks, we're back here at the Flames of War bootcamp, and we're about 6 o'clock in the evening now. So we've been playing for most of the day. People are starting to get to grips with the rules, and as you can see, we've still got people playing away, including people's just starting into the game with the actual box sets that we've given out. On some of the tables, we've got people like Captain Alpha Strike with his Russians. And we've even got some of the people who started playing yesterday with me have started to buy additional stuff like Tigers and Fireflies. So they're really starting to build on the basics that they've already learned. And they've really started to pick up the game quite quickly because it's fairly easy to get into and have been having a lot of fun. Now, we do have a game that's just finished playing, which is Commodore Rob and Warren. So if you want to come up here, we can have a quick chat with them and see how they've actually found playing their first game of Flames of War 4. So, how did it go and how did you get on?
It went exceptionally well. I've enjoyed it. Myself and Rob have got our heads around the basic rules. We have discovered that there is on the Flames of War site, we'll put a link to this. On the Flames of War site, there is a summary sheet, quick reference sheet, which we're using now religiously, just to take us, give us a bit of flowcharty goodness as we work through. It looks like a lot on it, but it's really not. It's like movement, shooting, assault.
Yeah, if you're not doing a phase, you don't have to worry about the box that's contained there.
When you're in the phase, it's more just to make sure that whenever a tank is shooting a tank or whatever, that you're just going through the right steps.
We've done shooting, right?
So about the game though, the game was fabulous. So what we found was it was very cinematic. The tanks obviously were sticking to clear paths, so you found the tanks actually following the shape of the terrain and stuff that we had set up, because they didn't want to get bogged down, and we didn't want to be bothered with that. But the infantry were able to run over stuff and move around and had all that agility.
Yeah.
It was really cool doing that. We've played with smoke. Rob popped smoke. I've had the worst luck with Panzerfausts and Panzerschrecks. They've just been pinging off tanks left, right, and centre, not doing anything. I thought I had taken an early lead in it when I took out a couple of the Shermans, and then Rob played this expert move on me and took out my entire group of Panzer IVs in one go. So much so, we made him replay it twice.
That's very harsh. The poor fella's here trying to learn, and you would accept that he's just killed you twice.
Oh, no, it wasn't like that. What we did was we played it twice. The first result stuck. We played it again a couple of times just to get our head around the steps, because it really was a case of, oh my goodness, that was masterful. He took it out. I thought, that's it, game over, because all I had left was a couple of squishy units and my 2 Pack 40s, that suddenly everything that he had was out of sight of my Pack 40s. They had no dominance, no presence on the table whatsoever. And then he moved his infantry towards the objective.
Tactical genius.
Yes. And I'll let Rob explain his tactical genius from this point forward. So
Rob, your tactical genius then, you had the central objective that you were going for, and you pushed people in towards it.
I was blinkered in what I was objecting. I completely didn't see the other unit that was within range over the other side. So that was my failure. I didn't realise I was going to be sandwiched between two infantry.
So you walked into the middle of a massive fire alley.
It wasn't. I didn't walk into it. The fire alley came afterwards. After he leapt over the buildings in a single bound, like super beings or whatever. They must be
super sausages.
Yeah, super sausages. But yeah.
So my Panzer Grenadier platoons had their bratwursts early in the day, were full of energy, and it was really interesting at this point, because then we finally had flesh on flesh action between me and Rob. I'd been looking forward to it all day. I'd had a sleep. I'd come back refreshed, and we got our flesh on flesh, and it was brutal. It was absolutely brutal. He played the beer. So I brought the two teams in close range, and basically it was a classic outflank. Just flanked them on one side, completely open, no cover, and then I went in and it was a massacre on 3+.
Machine guns on infantry in the open, they were always going to tear them apart. So that pretty much wrapped it up for a German victory, but Rob did get a little bit of payback right at the very end with this line of Sherman 76s and 75s, and there should actually just be a massive blood stain against this wall where the remnants of Warren's command HQ was.
I was trying to complete my hidden objective of set up a forward HQ, so I ran my HQ unit to try and get him into a building. They got caught up against the wall by 4 Shermans. They tried to surrender. Rob was having none of it.
No, because he had his own objective, which was to knock out the enemy's command structure. And so when the HQ were there, he just ripped into them. So it looks like you at least are enjoying yourself, Warren.
Yes. Yeah. It's good fun. It is good fun. I'm enjoying the cinematics of it. Just the getting down. There's so much going on. That 15mm scale just increases the amount that's going on. In different locations, you have to have a much wider awareness of what's happening elsewhere. At least for me, anyway. It's a step up or two from some board games we've played recently. So
it's good to hear. So we're just scraping the surface of what you can get into with Flames of War. We'll be back with more videos over the rest of the weekend. If you fancy winning prizes, I'm sure there's some sort of doobly-doo below to comment in. So we'll speak to you again soon.
Visit OnTableTop.com and comment on all 3 days of the Flames of War bootcamp to be in with a chance of winning one of 3 Flames of War bundles.
Hi everybody, we are back at the Flames of War bootcamp. I have snuck off to get a little bit of a game in with the Russians. So, we opened up the Russian big box yesterday, and I thought I would like to actually do an army for it. So I had Chris from Battlefront design me up a 50-point list. So, what we have some T-70s, which are across in the forest here. You can see two of them have the turrets turned upside down because they got brewed up, unfortunately. I have my T-34 Hero Tank Company and my HQ. My HQ, I'm leaving him here because he's holding an objective which is scoring me victory points. My other units, however, are up here laying waste to this train station. The next thing I have are the stars of my army. These are the KV-1s. They are sitting here on a road being a right royal pain for Oshin. Now, he has just assaulted me and got in, so we're going to get Chris in a moment to actually figure out what's going on there. The last thing I have is the Su-85 self-propelled gun. This is them here. And you're probably wondering why they're just chilling out at the back. It's because I haven't needed them yet, and I thought it was a little unfair to throw absolutely everything, because this does feel like quite the hefty army. So, Oshin, you enjoying it? You having fun?
At times. All
right, well, everybody, we'll move on here. I will come back to you and let you know how this game went, and I will see you again very soon.
Visit OnTableTop.com and comment on all 3 days of the Flames of War bootcamp to be in with a chance of winning one of 3 Flames of War bundles.
All right, folks, we're back again, and we're getting ready for the big participation game. So I've got Chris with me, and we're going to be talking about what the participants are going to be doing tonight for the big participation game, and what they can win and how they can win it. So what is the plan?
Okay, the plan is to get everybody together on this awesome table that we put together and to do a battle royale. So we're provisionally calling it the World of Tanks on Tabletop Styley.
Makes sense.
It makes a lot of sense, I like to think, yeah. Where basically the participants have got a 30-minute time limit. It's a platoon of 3 tanks from the Hit the Beach box set. However, we're scoring points for tanks destroyed. We're scoring extra points for a platoon wipe. Justin has quite happily said, I've got some KV-1s, if you can take them out, you get an extra prize. And the prize of the spot prize has been given out all weekend, so it's the tournament objectives, and there might be 1 or 2 little ones in there that we can rustle up from my boss, John, as well, but he doesn't know that yet, so we'll have to put him on the spot.
Yeah, it's always better to ask forgiveness than ask permission, I find.
I'm going to use that one on Monday at work then.
Yeah. So the idea then is we've got 12 foot, well, actually probably about 14 foot of can, and people are going to be rocking essentially platoons. If they get wiped out, they get a 5-minute timeout essentially, and then they can respawn.
Yeah, they can respawn back in again if they want to maybe mix up the tanks a little bit. Oh, them 3 Panzers didn't work for me, I'll put in a couple of Shermans, and the idea is to get that dream team of tanks to score as many points as possible to win some prizes.
Fantastic. Well, I think the only thing we have to do is to round up the slackers who are currently wandering about the place and get some tanks on this board. So we'll be back later on, and we'll hopefully get some prizes and speak to some of the people to see how it's going.
Visit OnTabletop.com and comment on all 3 days of the Flames of War bootcamp to be in with a chance of winning one of 3 Flames of War bundles.
So it's the big mega game. They've been talking about this today quite a bit. As you can see, every player is involved at the big city table. I'm going to try and squeeze in and try and find out what's going on, because it's hectic at the minute, totally hectic. Come on, get in here and have a wee look. So there's 3 tanks here, another tanks. It looks like everyone's got 3 or 4 tanks each. Let's try and edge over to Jerry there in the background and see if he can update us on what's actually going on in the mega game. Jerry, we're filming the mega game. What's been going on?
Bedlam, I think, is the answer.
Bedlam is the answer. Look at them everywhere.
People are just shouting out whenever they get a kill, so I'm having to try and do that.
All right, so Jerry's filling out the board of kills. Let's see who's got kills. I think nearly everyone's got a kill so far. Oh no, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 players have kills so far. A couple of players have 2 kills. So we already have some people streaking out into the league. Oh, another player just got another kill. Now 3 players on 3 kills. Is it last man standing, Jerry?
No, 30 minutes, but they respawn after 5 minutes if they get wiped out.
Oh, they respawn. Just to make it more hectic. We can't get rid of them. Come on in here, Ryan. Look over that direction.
Oh, the mega game. What a good idea to use the city for this.
Two more.
Nothing better than a big town for this sort of thing.
I already know.
Hold on, we're going to find out who's up to what. Let's see. Who's on the board? Who's killed things? Wayne, Michael. Michael's killed things. Let's go over to Michael. Let's go see Michael. Apparently Michael's killed 2 things. Michael could hear me coming a mile away. Michael, apparently you've killed stuff.
Surprisingly, with my usual strategy levels and dice rolling, and
that's your guys here.
Yeah, I've got Oddball's little tank, and he's going to kill every time. And I think we're about to move again. We've got this poor chap here stuck in a bit of a pincer movement between the two of us, and so he's clearing off. But hopefully I can shoot. Hopefully.
Oh, I see. So there was one set of tanks right over here. Can you see that? And this poor sod, you were sitting right in the middle between those tanks and these tanks over here. Jeez.
What's going to happen now?
No wonder you lagged it.
Oh no. Look at that. 2 dead.
You got 2 killed already. Oh, it's looking like respawn time for you. Right, so they've been at it for a while, the mega game. Lots of roaring and shouting going on. Let me see if I can edge in and find out how Martin, for example, has been getting on. Martin, where are you on the board? Oh, Martin's been killing lots of stuff. Come on over. Here, Martin.
Hey.
I see on the board you've killed lots of stuff.
Yeah, I've been killing things. It's amazing.
I'll come round. Like you.
It's the infamous Ariskany dice. I've been doing me awesome work.
So you've killed 5, 6, 7 tanks?
Yeah.
Oh, Martin's a beast.
A beast.
Where are you on? Where are you on the table?
Currently, I'm here.
Right.
I'm just going to tow around the edge of this building and try and blow up this last Sherman.
So you're rocking...
No, not Sherman.
Stug. Yeah. So you're rocking 2 Stugs at the minute?
This is you, man. Yeah.
Have you... Oh, this is... Where's yours?
That one.
Right, so Martin's zeroing in to kill your Stug.
Yeah.
Are you pleased about that?
Yeah, I think so.
I'm sure. Let's see the roll.
Got 1.
Did you get 1? Oh. Did you get enough to kill him? Yeah! Martin, you better shout out you've killed something. Jerry, Martin's killed 1. Martin's killed 1. Going up to 8. I think I put you in. I think I put you in joint leader.
Oh, nice. Thank you very much.
Oh.
And I just saved my tank.
You just saved your tank. Have you had to respawn at all yet, Martin?
Once. Yeah.
Was that like once you lose all 3 tanks, you then respawn?
Yeah. So you have a 5-minute timeout, and then you're back on the board. And that's probably like a turn. You basically miss a turn because some teams are a bit slower in rolling their dice. So about 1 or 2 turns, you're back in the game again.
Right. Okay. Let's see who else is on the board. Michael. Oh, Michael. We talked to Michael earlier. Michael's still doing well. Let's see if we can edge round and talk to Michael here. How are you going?
Yeah, good actually.
According to the board, I think you're like joint leader with Martin at the minute. It's very close.
Oh, really? I think I'm about to do 1 more tank.
Yeah.
3. Is that enough for fireplay?
Yep.
Yeah, I've got it. So, yeah, I'm on
we better shout that out.
Work.
Michael's killed another tank.
And a platoon.
Another platoon.
Oh, and a platoon as well.
I've just claimed a whole platoon.
Oh. It's chaotic. Chris.
Lloyd.
Chris, what's been going on, mate?
I don't really know what's going on, if I'm honest. There's just dice flying everywhere, but everyone's smiling, so I think we're doing something right.
Yeah.
Looking at the board, I think Jerry's just keeping up with the score, so I think we're going to add it up and hopefully find a winner. I'm not sure. John Matthews at the bottom, though, was doing a lot of yelling, so I think he's cheating. I hope he doesn't see this video, me saying he's cheating, but we'll see. But he was definitely whooping a minute ago, so I think we've got him playing.
I think we're closing in on the end, though. It's the end game.
This is the end game for Saturday, yeah. And yeah, everyone's been dying, and everyone's having fun, and that's a successful weekend, surely.
It is. That is the sign of a successful weekend. Roaring and shouting and whooping and yapping. Martin, Michael, what you up to here, mate?
Sometimes this guy's been killing 2 tanks nearly every go.
Yeah.
And I won him as a prize earlier. So
Uh-huh.
I really wanted to get him on the table just to use it. It's a fantastic miniature, and it's a bit of a laugh. Everyone's been shooting at it. Most of the time it's been jammy.
Yeah.
And and think I might be in with a chance of winning, actually.
I think you might. Let's go back around and see what's happening over here. How have you been? Actually, before we go, how have you been getting on?
I've been going very well. I killed Oddball twice, so I'm happy.
How many points have you got?
10.
10.
Yeah.
Who's the leader at the minute?
I'm not sure. Jonathan.
Shout out. 17? I've been running around telling people they're winning. Oh, well, let's go over. Hold on. I'm going back over. Let's go over to Jerry and find out who has actually won the mega game. Wait, Jerry, wait for me. I'm coming over. I'm here.
We did have a couple of massively high scorers in here with platoon kills. So some top 3 in here. We had Jan, racked up one, was it? No, Casper. Casper was knocking them out of the park.
Casper! Yeah!
Not good enough for the winner, though.
Oh, dear.
Also had a late surge from Wayne. That was great. We liked that a lot.
Wayne, where are you, mate? Give us a roar. Go on. No, big roar. Go on. Roar!
Rob was doing his level best, sitting at the back of the board, but by far and away, Michael using oddball. What noise does a dog make?
Where are you, Mike? Oh, he's over
here. With 17 points, Michael's a clear winner. However, I will say, Alex, although he didn't score massively highly, he did kill oddball twice.
Go on!
And I'm of the opinion that's got to be worth a prize in there. So we have an overall winner, which is Michael. We'll get our
Michael.
Third.
Come on.
I'll grab
Come on over here. Michael, I was just talking to you a few minutes ago. I'm going to ask again, what is the secret to success in the big mega game of shouting and shooting and whooping and yelling?
17 points from a 17-pounder. Can't say simpler than that. Yeah. I was making him up about literally 40 minutes ago.
Yeah.
And I had no idea that he'd do so well. I did realise he would get victimised, but that was part of the fun.
Well, there you go then. 17-pounder is the secret to success. Let's find out who's second and third.
Okay. Cat's around here.
Jerry.
And Alex at the end.
Who is second and third, and are they getting prizes?
They are all getting prizes, yeah. So Michael's our top. Rob came in with a sterling second place. Casper's getting our third, and honourable mention for offing oddball.
Big round of applause!
Look at it.
Right, so it's like a lucky dip thing. There's a box over here that Jerry has, and there's prizes in it. And people are digging in and picking out your prize. Michael, what did you win, mate?
I've won the Hollywood Tiger sort of limited edition objective marker.
Yeah.
It's got a nice scenic base, but also it's based on the T-34 tarted up. And so it goes nicely with my old Bull Sherman.
Oh, yeah.
It's a perfect result.
Perfect. Rob, mate. Hey, come back, winners. Rob, what did you manage to pick out of the box?
A blister pack
of
a oddball.
Oh, did you get an oddball?
I got an oddball.
You'll be thinking, oh, that's great after all the odd shots that oddball got. Let's go find out. Alex, mate, what'd you manage to pick out?
For killing oddball, I've got the Hollywood Tiger.
Oh, yes.
So, my full Kelly's Heroes complement is now here. Fantastic.
Sweet. Right, Casper, what did you get, mate?
I got the local defense forces with grocer's van.
Oh, you're the only one who didn't get a tank.
Yeah, so who wants Tesco's groceries?
Let's have a look at this. Oh, that is like Corporal Jones' butcher's van. Have you ever seen Dad's Army?
I think so, maybe, I'm not sure.
That's what this is.
Too young, we'll fix that.
This is the butcher's van. Good luck. Congratulations. Get that rocking on the field next week. Want to see it in here, mate?
Yeah.
Bring it to the club.
Yeah.
Kill stuff.
Yeah.
Visit OnTableTop.com and comment on all 3 days of the Flames of War bootcamp to be in with a chance of winning one of 3 Flames of War bundles.
So we've reached the end of Saturday here at the Flames of War D-Day bootcamp. What a day it's been, Warren.
Yep.
What a day.
It's been amazing. I'm tired, man. I'm tired. Look, the boot camp has caught up with me. Three weeks of intensity has caught up with me.
You're tired.
I was watching this game.
Exactly. You were just watching the mega.
So yeah, it's been great. Do you know what we'll do now, though?
Yeah.
let's finish it. We started a vlog series about how we were going to build Normandy. Okay.
Right. Yep.
How about we show them the finish? And we actually finished the vlog series. Not like that we would ever leave a vlog series unfinished.
No, we're never going to do that. Such a good idea. If you want to see how we got on and got the tables and all set up, there's a whole series like he's mentioned. But this is how they turned out. Hey everyone, it's the weekend of the Flames of War boot camp. Ooh, the D-Day one, exciting stuff. And we have finished setting up. The last time you seen us, I was busy making hedges. We were bacaging away, dumping stuff in tubs.
Bacaging away.
One of my favourite jobs.
Yes.
And now it's all out in the table, which we'll show you in a sec. But just before we get stuck into that, we didn't cover that. Warren came in and he was like, ooh, Bacage, why don't you just do that?
To the hedges.
To the actual hedges and don't stick them down. So actually what you're going to see in here around the tables and stuff today, a lot of this is in here just to speed it up.
Yeah. Well, it was really, really quick to do because it only needed one coat of PVA. So you went in, it was the same procedure. You didn't stick it to anything. You just grabbed your strip.
Yeah.
You went in, you clipped it with the clippers to uneven it.
Well, heavy scissors. I think we use like garden shears.
Garden shears. Always good. Then you go in and you give it a really good heavy coat of PVA along the bristles.
Yeah.
And then you just dunk it in and Bob's your uncle, you leave it. If you want, you could give it another coat of watered down PVA, so PVA and water, just over the top of it all to seal it and to stop bits kind of dropping off. Mm-hmm. We did that to most of them, but not all of them.
So. Let's get a look at the tables.
This is attack on V1 Castle, okay? So a lot of Flames players and a lot of historical players love everything historical. And anybody that knows me knows that I also like to do just a bit of weird and something that's maybe bubbling in my imagination. I just want to see what it would be like. So whenever we were attacking Normandy, I just thought to myself, Normandy is full of big, amazing Norman castles and forts and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be amazing if there was an old ruined fort? Because we've got a kind of like an old ruined castle near where we live. And I've often thought, what would it be like if there was your enemies were camping in there or encamped? It was like a headquarters and you had to attack it, where they had the benefit of modern strategic tactics, modern strategy and tactics, and the benefit of a castle. I think it would be amazing. Yeah, so what I thought was we would have it that it's where the Germans are, it's where their batteries of V1 rockets are taken off Doodlebugs. And here's an encampment where they're camped in. So, you put it down to begin with, and it looks like a castle. And then you start putting some of the little modern bits in, like tents and V1s and stuff. And then it starts to look like Wolfenstein, man. It's I like it.
And then we had these little bits of built up barricades and stuff they were sitting about, which was a great way of blocking, the big holes and stuff. Because like if you were in a castle and it was a big wall segment that's falling down, you're going to build some extra defenses here and there.
So the castle is fully modular. It's a beautiful modular kit from printablescenery.com. That we scaled down to 60% of its original size. We just went with a beautiful 28mm terrain, scaled it down to 60% of its original size. So not 60% down. We're printing it at 60% rather than 100%.
Yeah. Now, one thing they do have is they have a free file on their website called SID Scale.
SID Scale.
And this allows you to actually have essentially a really rough figurine of a soldier that is for the different scales. So you can actually eyeball it as well.
Yeah,
so you don't just go by the numbers. Sometimes the sculpt can be a little different.
When you've loaded it into your print bed and you've laid it out, you can bring SID Scale in and you drop him in and you move him around just to make sure that the scale's kind of right. We'd probably go a little bit bigger, but we were happy enough with 60% across the board because it kept everything maybe a little bit smaller, but it also means it's a little bit easier to pack away.
Yeah, well, what it also allowed me to do was I was able to make my print beds as efficient as possible because I was able to double up on 3-story houses per print run, which was just a lot quicker.
And considering for this project, we have been printing non-stop for 3 to 4 months now, so...
Yeah, royally.
Yeah. I've been there in spirit, man. I've been there in spirit.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Well, let's move along, will we?
Yeah, so this one we wanted to introduce some rail track, okay? So the rail track is Gale Force 9. It's basically Flames of War rail track. And then just using a little bit of black grit. Now, the black grit on this, Justin made.
Yeah, basically I took and reused a technique that Lloyd had shown because it was at the end of one of the days.
This stuff here we're talking about.
And Lloyd turned around and went, "Can I get some like black sand or something to go between the railroads? We've got some in the Hobby Lab." I couldn't find it, so I thought, hang about, I could just make some.
Yes.
So I just grabbed some of our kiln dried sand and started dusting and shaking it the way Lloyd showed you in one of the earlier vlogs.
Isn't it amazing how well sand actually takes paint?
Yeah. It's
is
basically just little stones and you just spray it. But the good thing is because we've used like a duct tape underneath this stuff to keep it all together. So what you ended up with is sometimes you could see a little bit of shiny grey underneath. So just doing that filled it in. And even if you weren't doing that, it just fills in any grass from the table underneath it. And makes it look like one big purposefully balanced.
Well, I mean, like how many times do we look at a table and go, "It's all right"? Then we do the blending step with all of our loose scatter, and it just looks great.
Yeah, we got our gravestones and everything.
Yeah, so we've put in some little graveyards. Again, we're leaving gaps and stuff just so as to make it easy for soldiers on bases to fight in and among it. But the gravestones are a cracking little kit, 15mm scale from foreground.
Yep.
Very quick to put together.
Walls that we were sent in from Gale Force 9.
Yeah, so Gale Force 9 had kindly did us up just a few extra walls. They're just resin cast walls with a little bit of a paint job on it. But you can see loads of our bocage being used and our hedges, and what that does is a really fast way of edging roads, edging rail tracks, and giving a nice additional green color because foliage makes all the difference in a gaming table, at least to me, and having that extra foliage just livens it up. It makes a gaming table come to life.
Absolutely,
for me.
because even when these tables are full chock-a-block with hedges and roads and stuff like that, I totally get what you're saying about the foliage, because when the trees are not here, it looks really empty. And when the trees go in, combined with the hedges and stuff, all that foliage just comes together to make it look epic.
Into our first little village square.
Yes.
I love this table. Okay, so this is using something a little bit different. So a while back, we were in a kind of like one of them cheaper cash and carry kind of places.
Yeah.
And we found little houses, little ornament houses.
Here, I'll pick one up and give you a wee example.
Yeah. So these are just little ornament houses.
Does it have a label on the bottom?
If you check, there might be.
Yeah, on the inside.
Oh, there is, but I can't read it. It just says made in China.
Made in China. Okay, well, there you go. Little ornament houses, and they were going, maybe part of a closing down sale or just some ornament that they brought in, and we thought, do you know what? We'll pick them up. So we've picked them up, we've used them over the years, and then we thought, you know what? As a homage to how good this train has served us over the years, we'll do one table of it and just do a little village square. And I love this. I feel so warm.
It does, doesn't it?
It reminds me of a little village in the south of Ireland called Red Cross.
Never been.
And there's an old famous pub. It's long closed by an old gentleman. I can't remember his name, but they had no seats. You sat on barrels. They had no fridges. All the beer was warm. But people from all over the world had scribbled their names on the walls. It was an utter you had to go out
that's
to
the
the
best
back.
pubs, though.
Oh, it was, but it was amazing. But this little village reminds me of Red Cross.
Just before we move on, I think it's a good example, for the purpose of the boot camp. See why none of this is moving around?
Yeah.
Because I went round and I taped all the roads together. I taped the hedges to the roads, and even over here, Colin, come on over here. I actually put a bit of tape under that and then back in under the mat.
Yeah.
So if you're doing like modular terrain for a big event or something, tape is your friend.
Yeah,
even this stuff.
A couple of rolls of duct tape, and you can use that then to seal it. Because remember, the more bits you tape to one another, the less the whole thing will move. Yeah. And you don't need an awful lot of tape either. So.
And then we just had some of our flock left over, which then we went along and just dropped in the edges. Because sometimes, like here, just because I've moved it, you can see a bit of shiny tape. Can you? Well, if you're higher up, you can. There you go. Can you see it? And I'll just, you can imagine it's there. And then that just goes in over the top. Bang, gone. Off you go.
Yeah.
Happy days.
So that similar techniques then over on this side of the house. Again, all the buildings over here are all 3D printed, except for the rail station, which is another wonderful model that comes out of the Flames of War range.
I think there is one quick difference to the houses on this particular side, because we did these as single-story houses.
Yes.
So with the 3D printable stuff, you can just take a top layer off and drop it down one.
And what that meant is that we were getting 3 houses per print instead of 2 houses per print.
Exactly.
So it started to speed us up.
And I like this table a lot too, because Jerry brought in this book about Normandy, and it had aerial photos and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was looking at, the wiggle in the road looks just like what we've been doing.
Yeah.
I was dead chuffed with it.
Remember, we have a full vlog series of the build up to this where we've been showing you the techniques that we've used to build all the roads and things. So the roads are built from wallpaper and self-adhesive vinyl tiles.
Yeah.
Everything we've done has been a fast process. It's been a process that we can break down and store. And most importantly, it's been a process that I'm really proud of, and I would gladly say to anybody to play on the gaming tables we've produced for this.
This table here is a good example of how we played with the roads and the rail tracks.
Yeah.
Because the rail tracks cut through in 2 places here, and then you come up with this clever idea, Warren, of taking off some strips of what we'd made for the roads and just dropping them in, like, do you know the way they sort of...
the humps.
They hump that road bit. And then
it's a bit brutal looking, but hey, it's set on terrain.
It gets the job done. This is all taped. Oh, yeah, it is taped. But then we just slice the road and drop the rail track between it.
Yeah.
And that way we don't get a big lump where the track's going over the road like that.
Yeah.
I see people have already started getting their minis and stuff out in this one.
People have started to lay out minis, and they've even had a couple of games.
No, Colin, don't do that. Don't do that. We're in Normandy. And those are my ones.
There's some Soviets in
the
there.
Soviets in there.
You really think I'm letting you have a boot camp and I'm not getting a game on with something? I've actually done some unboxings for all the new starter sets with the guys from Battlefront for the boot camp, so if you're about, tune in for that.
So another rural area, a bit more dense in terms of forestry. Again, I've never been to Normandy, so we've based this on pictures and places that I have been, which is in Ireland, because I don't like to fly. So the guys hate it, but I love it. My tall erection here is a tower. It's a defense tower by monks. So the narrative here is that this was always a religious site. And before the church was built, this was a monastery. Okay, and to protect themselves from Viking raids, because the monks had to get the idea from somewhere.
Yeah.
The Norman monks,
I don't know.
Okay, built a tall tower that they could hide their beer in and their wine and stay out of the way of Vikings.
I mean, it's fun and all, but I'm not sure I'm ever going to get used to looking at it.
I love it, man. And do you know what? That's all that matters.
It's fun.
This one kit sums up why we don't let Warren build the IKEA furniture in here.
Because it'll look
instructions.
Fun.
Bah! What instructions?
It didn't need instructions, man. It just needed glued, one layer on top of the other. It looks good to me.
Right. That brings us to the end of the rural tables. Come on over here. Do you see what we did for the inner town?
Yeah. So large town, because fighting happened through them as well. So we decided to recreate a large town, and we're hoping that our players are going to get a chance to play a big participation game on this. It started with the mats. So we got Gale Force 9 mats. This is the reverse side of the mats that we have used in the rural side. In the rural side, you'll remember the mats were more kind of stepland from what you would see in way over Eastern Europe and the kind of the east, the battles in the east. So they were very, very yellow. So we mixed up a green, a series of green fabric dyes and air gunned them on to tone them to the color that we wanted. When it came to, we flipped over the other side, we found that the grey of these mats was just too grey, too bright, too harsh.
Too clean.
Yeah.
It blended perfectly well with the buildings and stuff as they come with the range.
Yeah.
But we wanted it to look like a town that's been bombarded, hence...
Yeah, the footage that we had and the photographs we had seen, there was a lot of destruction. So we wanted to, when we first built it, we thought, well, we could go clean. And then we thought, no, let's get some destruction into this. And we put it out to you guys in the vlog. And the overall response was, yeah, let's do some destruction. Yeah. So we set to work on 3D printing a load of destroyed buildings.
Yeah, which is a variant you can pick up.
Yeah, so again, Printable Scenery have a destroyed variant. Also, Lloyd has went in with clippers and destroyed buildings and went in and destroyed them even more. So.
These two in particular used to have roofs and stuff on them. Well, that one definitely did. And then I just cut it on down. It's surprising how hard this plastic is, though?
Yes.
Oh, the PLA, yeah.
I couldn't believe when I started trying to clip that.
It breaks clippers.
I did break a pair of clippers.
Did you break a pair? Yeah, you got to be careful. It can break clippers. So once we got all the 3D printed buildings, if you in the vlog you'll see how we weathered these buildings. We used the same weathering process on the 3D printed buildings after we had printed them.
Yeah.
And then we laid down the excellent rubble mixes, Lloyd, that you had been making.
We spent
again.
ages.
Look at the previous vlogs.
Martin Laughenboy came over and helped, so we set him to work with cutting little bits of wood for 8 hours.
Looking around here and inside the building.
And then we sprayed sand.
Yeah.
Sprayed it red because we knew in this part of the factory district the buildings were red, so we're going to need some red dust to make it look like the bricks have just exploded when they hit.
Yeah.
So that's why there's a lot of red dust in around there. And then around the other buildings there was sort of greys and blacks and browns. And then at the very end I had this sort of ash stuff that I just sprinkled all over it. And it did a really nice
as well.
It did a really nice effect because it landed on all the roofs.
Yeah.
And it looked like ash had gone into the air and then fallen down and settled back down. So it was, I was looking at it going, ooh, that helps really tie in any buildings that aren't even, like, don't have rubble and stuff, because now it ties them from that to
they've had a bit of debris land on
what's lying on the mat and stuff.
Yeah.
Cracking job.
And then the final step then, it was tuning the light rigs that we have to give us a few different lighting effects. So I will go and switch those, and I'll leave you guys to talk about the different effects. So
yeah. Just while he's doing that, come on over here. We've got a church as well. This was a larger rubble mix. It was kind of a last minute thing. We thought, oh, we'll put the church in.
Yeah.
So you won't have seen me do this. You would probably have seen me actually filtering this to get a smaller rubble mix that we used.
Yeah, but it kind of makes sense for the church because they would have been built with a faced stone.
Yeah, and then we used the smaller stuff in there, but then when we come to do this, it didn't really look right. So we needed to get the big rubble mix in. And then the layout, right, you'll notice as you look around, I've made sure we spread buildings out. Like, they're clumped together in little 2s and 3s and stuff like that, but every little block has a destroyed building, because when you want to do this, you want to have an excuse. Oh, hey, we're going into light mode. Special light mode. You want to have an excuse to throw down rubble mix and stuff all over the place.
So as you'll see, it's slightly more kind of warm summer's kind of morning, summer's evening. So it just tones down a little bit and gives us a bit more kind of stronger, longer shadows and things. It again adds some texture to the whole display and all of the gaming tables. And then over here we went for a harsher, kind of colder town light.
Well, it's that morning after the raid, because the cold light of day you see the destruction.
So it's to try and give it just that little bit of sense of something slightly colder, slightly darker.
Yeah, so it's really cool. Have we other lighting setups and stuff?
We do. I can take us through to nighttime.
So
this is what we're considering D-Day night. So D-Day night is more of a twilight kind of a thing. Again, you'll have seen we're starting to go into the evening sunset. I particularly like this. I think it's quite an exceptional series of colors, and it really starts to give that sense of the dangers creeping in. You know, because fighting at night is a dangerous thing. I love this side. Over in the city, however, at night time, we wanted to capture the fires. The
fact that there would have been fired, burning.
That glowing night sky thing.
Glowing night sky of fires, because your entire city, your town's on fire. So this is more of there's more reds and oranges into this.
Because even in your standard built-up town these days with all the street lights and stuff, when you go out at night, there's actually kind of an orangey tone going on.
Yeah. Well,
so if there's fires burning everywhere, that would just be immense, the amount of colour.
Yeah. And then finally if the boot campers decide, we can then go into full night mode, which is basically a variation of this.
Full night mode!
So full night mode is a little bit intense, but that is, we basically, there's a lot of blues, and it's quite an intense thing to play. You need your torches for this whenever you're reading your rule books and the likes, but it's interesting.
You remember Band of Brothers?
Yes.
Flash?
Yeah.
You idiot.
No.
No, the callback. Whenever they jumped, flash, thunder.
No, no idea. No idea. Right.
So it is the weekend of the boot camp, as I illuminate myself, as you can see me.
Oh, you're a little bit.
It is the weekend at the minute. So come on over to the website.
Yes.
On OnTableTop.com. Look for the live blogs. There's one for each day. There's a Friday one, a Saturday one, and a Sunday one, and there's some epic bundles that you can win by commenting on those things.
Put your comments into each of the live blog posts. We'll be picking winners one winner at random from each of the 3 days, and they're going to win themselves a Flames of War bundle of games, books, and it's great. It is great. I'm having a blast.
Right. We'll see you over there.
Visit OnTableTop.com and comment on all 3 days of the Flames of War boot camp to be in with a chance of winning one of 3 Flames of War bundles.